Streak broken. I think we missed it by 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, or at least a radio station just around the corner has been the first to broadcast from SEC Media Day. I guess that's the downfall of being here in Atlanta on the Eastern time zone, as opposed to Birmingham, where we've been for 3 out of the 4 times that I have been at SEC Media Day. But Patrick, I'm here. I got to admit, I just put it on Twitter, took some pictures, took a selfie, because why not? When in Atlanta, take a selfie. Pretty sure that's what you do in Atlanta. But it's the best setup I've ever been in. Right behind me, if you go to our live stream, you can kind of see where I'm at. I'm in the College Football Hall of Fame, and just behind me is the setup for where all the coaches and players will roll through this coming week here, as they will hit the podium, talk about the upcoming football season, and we will be right here from 107.5 The Game to preview all of it. And it should be a pretty entertaining, interesting weekend that will get going, week that'll get going around 11:30 today. Patrick, when Greg Sankey heads up there to the podium to give his State of the Union SEC address.
How many other stations are live right now? Just one? Dan, you got me?
I'm going to need to hear a little bit more of Patrick. I do not have Patrick in my headphones, but we will get all that up and going this morning. Again, as myself, yes. Patrick Barrett, Jen Jensen, ready to go, or at least I am ready to go. Or I think I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Patrick now joining in, and yeah, Patrick, we'll get into a lot from the weekend, but yeah, here we are, SEC Media Day, and we are ready to get things going here this morning.
Who beat us? Do you know? How many other stations are live right now?
It was a station out of Atlanta. I heard them proclaim themselves the home of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I didn't know anybody proclaimed that, but they said
what are they doing
the
there?
home of the national champion Georgia Bulldogs.
Okay. I'm just looking at your picture right now. The setup does look sweet. You just got to hang out there all day.
That's kind of the plan. Hang out all day. Well, Jay Phillips will be along shortly. I believe he is still in the room sleeping soundly. It was an interesting night. We're right here at the Omni, and it was an interesting night. There was an Indian wedding that was taking place. I don't know much about Indian weddings, but I now know that they feature a lot of people. Apparently, last night there was in the vicinity of 1,000 to 1,200 people at this one wedding. I was invited to go. I was told to throw on a tie, and as one of the more inebriated people that had been at the wedding, even though there were some physical differences between me and the wedding goers, I was told that nobody would be able to tell the difference. Just to come along, throw on a tie, and join in for some Indian food and booze. I thought I almost. Jay Phillips quickly told me we were going to dinner, and so I didn't make that trip. But that was an interesting part of the night here when we arrived over here in Atlanta.
So when does Jay Phillips tell you what to do? I thought Heath made the plans.
Well, it was a group effort on Fox Brothers Barbecue yesterday, which was delicious. It was a group effort. A couple years ago when I came, I couldn't fully immerse myself in the Fox Brothers Barbecue, but I went all in yesterday with the burnt ends, the brisket, and some smoked chicken. But maybe the highlight of it was actually what was called the Foxaroni, which was Brunswick stew over mac and cheese. Pretty good.
Brunswick is. I'm not 100% sure what Brunswick stew is.
It's more of a stew than, because Jen, you would agree with me on this. Buford stew is a little bit more of I think we all call Buford stew, Frogmore stew, however you want to label it. It's more of just the shrimp, the potatoes, and the corn. Whereas Brunswick stew is more of an actual stew, kind of soupy type material made with barbecue.
Tomato base with beans, veggies, and meat.
Yeah, I had the meat and didn't really get any of the beans, but it was delicious. I can promise you that, and so that made for a good start to the trip.
What time did you guys hit the road yesterday?
We were out at 1:30, so I was yesterday actually being able to watch the very end of the golf tournament, which is something we'll get into a lot this morning. But I was able to watch kind of the final two holes there, and Roy McIlroy yesterday and Cam Smith. Again, we'll get into a lot of that this morning. We got out about 1:30, 2 o'clock. A little bit of traffic on the way over. Managed to arrive just in time to be able to get myself registered and then head off to dinner, and then come back and kind of check everything out, kind of get myself acquainted with a little walk from the hotel here to the College Football Hall of Fame, which are right next to each other. And then an early bedtime. Watched a little bit of the Major League Baseball draft. Didn't know what I was watching, but watched a little bit of the Major League Baseball draft and called it a night.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, did you guys have to bail before the golf tournaments? That is good. That is partly why I love the British Open. This might now be my favorite major, because sitting on the couch and watching that thing end at, what was it, 1 o'clock ish, right when it ended.
It was a little bit closer to about 1:45, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying it was it was before 1 o'clock here, because I'm an hour behind. But I was loving that. So Rory, everybody likes Rory, right? He's one of like the good guys on tour that everybody loves. It was sad watching that.
It was. I don't want to take
any. Took 36 putts.
I don't want to take
2 putt on every single hole. It was devastating.
I don't want to take anything away from Cam Smith. And Cam Smith, Roy McIlroy did not lose that golf tournament yesterday. No. Cam Smith went and won the golf tournament without a doubt. Like, you shoot 64, you shoot 30 on the backside. Nobody fell apart. Nobody cost themselves the tournament. There were some putts early on, Patrick, that were makeable for McIlroy that I thought he needed to make, but I thought it was going to be Victor Hovland that took advantage of the missed putts when Roy could have really put his foot on the neck of, at that time, Victor Hovland. It would turn out that it would be Cam Smith who would take full advantage of it. But I think you're right. I very, very, very seldom do I watch a sporting event with no real connection and just feel awful for the loser. But in this scenario yesterday, I felt really bad. Like, I was happy for Cam Smith because, again, Cam went and won the golf tournament. I can't say that enough this morning. The dude shot 64 and was lights out. What, 7? Am I right on this? 7 birdies in the final 9 holes.
He was absurd.
I mean, what he did is absolutely incredible. But the way it's set up for Roy McIlroy yesterday, the home of golf, all these things, he played really well. And just not able to get the job done, and I really felt bad for him because, like you just pointed out, I think he has become the most likable golfer in the world. Cam Smith certainly, again, is a guy with lots of the personality did start to come out, Patrick, throughout the week, and I'm happy for Cam Smith. Man, absolutely hate it for Roy McIlroy.
Cam Smith, I mean, I like him a lot. He was a little bit boring, sort of, but also just completely unfazed. Like, he actually didn't look like he cared when he made or missed a putt. He was just moving along, just knocking down big shot after big shot. And it was I wanted Rory to make it interesting because I like the last hole mattering, and we kind of knew that Cam Smith had already won it because Rory was not going to make that chip on 18. After he missed the birdie putt on 17, we knew he wasn't going to win. So I wanted the last hole to be like the deciding hole, and I wanted Rory to have to make or miss a putt to win it and build some of the suspense. And Cam Smith was already in the clubhouse and just kind of hanging out, drinking a soda, just ready to go. So that part was kind of a bummer. But I mean, I think it was the best back nine ever at a British Open. I think they said it was absurd what he did. So I mean, he absolutely did win it, but for Rory literally just not being able to make a single putt. When they throw up the stats of total putt distance, Cam Smith, we were only through like 9 holes, and Cam Smith is at like 84 feet. Rory was at like 25, 27.
Yeah. It was. We'll talk a lot about that. Get you some Cam Smith audio this morning. Again, he wins the Open Championship 1 shot ahead of Cameron Young and Roy McIlroy. It was really an entertaining tournament, and I would have loved to see Roy McIlroy. I was pulling hard for him, and again, was just it really felt awful for him yesterday, and it'll be interesting to see. Given that this is the last major, now he's got to sit and kind of stew on that one until April in the Masters. McIlroy had been playing really, really well over the last several weeks, really the last half of summer. Uh, and I'll be interested to see what he comes back and what he looks like when we get to next year and how he performs in majors, because that majors drought now continues for him. And certainly a guy that looked like by age 25 was about to go on a tear and have double digit majors, but it's now been an 8-year drought for him. And yesterday was an opportunity to kind of break that and really get going. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. And we'll talk a lot about that this morning.
He's got 3 top fives and an 8. He finished 2, 8, 5, and 3 in the 4 majors this year.
No, yeah, he's playing. I mean, he's playing well. Just all of it. Kind of almost. Will Zalatoris doesn't have a major, and Zalatoris, this was a little bit different for him. But we'll get into that. We'll talk a lot about the championship this morning. I am live at the College Football Hall of Fame here in Atlanta, where we will get going later this morning. Greg Sankey will take to the podium about 11:30 and give his State of the Union SEC address. We'll cover some of the topics and get our opinions on what we think may or may not be said. If you want to join along, 803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program this morning. You can also follow along on the live stream. You can go to youtube.com, search 1075 The Game, click join, subscribe, be a part of the program in any way, shape, or form. College football season still several weeks away, now less than 7 weeks, Patrick. But today it really starts to heat up more as the SEC takes to the podium, and Greg Sankey here in about 5 hours, roughly, give or take a few minutes, we'll head to the podium to talk about what is going on with the SEC. We'll get into that. We'll get into that Open Championship. Plenty to talk about this morning. You're listening to Patrick Perrett, Jen Jensen, and Bill Gunner. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Talking a little golf this morning. Major season is now officially ended, but that doesn't mean that your golf season has to end. We're just getting into the heart of summer, and it's perfect time for you to get out there and play, but you can't do that if you've got any joint pain lingering. If that's the case, if you're waking up sore, if your hips, knees, back, anything like that is hurting, you need to call Prisma Health Orthopedics. They are the official team physicians for the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Clemson Tigers, so they will give you and your family the same care provided to the top athletes in the state. They're also the most comprehensive orthopedic group in the region. They have 65 specialists across 6 locations, so they can serve you wherever you may be. So if hip and knee pain is making your daily life difficult, you need to seek the best care and find out just how much it's affecting your quality of life by getting out to Prisma Health and taking a free health assessment. They are the region's most trusted orthopedic practice. They've got a deep-rooted history spanning nearly a century, and they are leaders in innovative procedures and teaching the next generation of orthopedic physicians. They offer full-service walk-in orthopedic urgent care clinic for all sports injuries, strains, sprains, fractures, as well as chronic joint pain. And they know that hip and knee pain can make your daily life difficult, and they want to help you however they can. Prisma Health has built a foundation for patient-centered care and innovation that results in the best possible services for their patients. So you need to get out there, take that free health assessment, and learn what else they can do for you. You can visit them on the web at prismahealth.org/orthopedics.
All right. Not sure how well y'all can actually hear me. You can see the setup down there. So we've got a good little setup going. Trying to wake up a little bit. Didn't drink any coffee No coffee is not the way to start in the morning. Yeah, Yeah, David, we're not the only radio show here. There's going to be a lot of noise. We can fix that, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of noise. It's only going to get worse throughout the morning. So I don't know how much live stream. If we're worried about the noise, there won't be a whole lot of live streaming this week. Not even 100% sure we're supposed to be doing this, to be honest. But yeah, it's going to be like day one. Everybody's kind of trying to find their way in, and then by day 4 on Thursday, everybody's exhausted. I don't know what that is. A ghost sour watermelon. Don't forget about that. No, Jen, that Spurrier audio, I think, was in one of Terry's emails.
Oh, so it's all has to.
Apparently, Spurrier was on with.
Okay, Connor.
There we go.
Of course we can't.
Huh?
I see there's Connor Shaw audio.
Yeah, there's another one that says Connor and Spurrier sound from Game Time at Halls on Friday. That was sent at 2:34 a.m. $6:21 on a Monday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Barrett, Jen Jensen, as we are up and rolling. I'm live from Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame for SEC Media Day, where again, Patrick, later this morning, it will be time for Greg Sankey to give his State of the Union address. And some of the people that we were kind of talking to as we joined in over here yesterday, very interested to hear just how much Greg Sankey will talk about some of the events that have taken place really over the last, 5 to 7 months, going back to Georgia winning the national championship. Throw in some of the other things that have happened just in the SEC, with Mississippi winning the national championship in baseball, and the women's basketball team in South Carolina winning the national championship there in basketball. But also television contracts. How much will Greg Sankey get into that? Obviously, conference realignment, NIL, and how that's changing things. What will be the message from Greg Sankey as he tries to lead not just the SEC, but college football into the next era that we are currently experiencing?
That's what is the most newsworthy thing he could possibly say? I mean, I guess it would be the way he's leaning on a vote for the college football playoff moving forward. I mean, I guess short of bringing out Dan Lanning and Kalen DeBoer and announcing that the SEC has added Oregon and Washington, I do feel like we kind of know where he stands on most of the major issues going on in realignment in college football right now. The SEC would, I'm sure, love to add several teams in the ACC, but that's not really a possibility right now. And it doesn't feel like they would want anyone else from the Pac-12. So of the major news in college football, which has dominated the discussion the last couple weeks, is realignment, and I don't know what we're going to hear from him on that regard. I don't know if what he really needs to say or how it's relevant to him. It's not Big Ten media days will be a little bit different.
Yeah, in terms of the SEC, now I'll tell you the general consensus last night in talking with people here is that if the SEC is to expand, it will be into previously untapped states. The strong feeling amongst many of the not of the regional writers and radio guys last night as we were sitting around is that if the SEC went the ACC route, it would be North Carolina and Virginia that would be the most popular picks to bring, because, again, you don't have an SEC school and you don't have a Big Ten school in either of those states. And so you'd be able to put your footprint into those states. The general consensus that Clemson and Florida State would be attractive. Again, this is speculation by media here. I don't think anybody knows truly what Greg Sankey and the SEC is thinking, but is that Clemson and Florida State would not be the most attractive candidates, that the SEC would make moves on Virginia or North Carolina, again, because of the added television markets in the state of North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, obviously, and Virginia, going into some of those cities and being able to get television markets there. Again, it's a financially driven decision. And we'll kind of see what he talks about today, if he mentions that the SEC at 16 is content, or if he talks about the evolution of college football, and if with the evolution that they need to stay up with the times and expand a little bit more. So I think in terms of conference realignment, I don't expect Greg Sankey to come out and sound like the Big 12 last week, who said that they are open for business, when we all knew they were open for business. But I think he will at least address, I would think that his address will give us some idea of whether the SEC will be expanding even further in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I understand the Virginia and North Carolina thing. I mean, I understand North Carolina. Everybody wants North Carolina. It's a good school. They have a great basketball program. Their football program can at times be very good. I think it's got all the potential in the world to be a really good program. The Virginia part I don't understand. I mean, I get we want to put the SEC network in all of these homes in Virginia and North Carolina, but also I think the Big Ten regrets adding Maryland and Rutgers and going that television market model. I know they wanted the Big Ten network in New York City, and they wanted it in the Washington D.C. era, but they haven't added anything really to the conference. I mean, Maryland has from a basketball perspective, but they're also looking at Apple. Like, the idea that Apple would pay $1 billion a year for the Big Ten package. Why does it matter what states you're in at that point? You're not selling the cable market, so what is the difference?
That is an interesting point that was raised last night. Just because the one thing you've not heard is the SEC being involved with any streaming platforms. But Patrick, again, as many people said last night and that I've kind of talked to, the ESPN and ABC are going to have the prime rights to whatever the SEC does. It's highly doubtful that you see a streaming platform be able to get involved with the SEC. So when it comes down to your mega deal, it's going to be ABC, ESPN that is leading the charge on this. That's where the majority of your money is going to come from. Maybe there's a secondary market with someone else in the streaming field, but quite frankly, it's ABC, ESPN that's going to be driving that particular television contract, not a particular deal from Apple or from Amazon. So it's a little bit
different between the SEC and the Big Ten, though. Like, why is it? Because people in the South are like less active on streaming platforms or something like that? Why is the Big Ten looking into Apple? I mean, Amazon and Apple can.
No. The general feeling is that ESPN and ABC are still going to be the major players for the Big Ten. That's where the majority of the money will come from. Now, a secondary market where maybe they are streaming something else, yes, that could be kind of interesting as it pertains to what you're trying to do. But the bottom line is that the majority of the money, the big television contract, is coming from ESPN, from Disney, if you want to say, ABC. But that's where the majority of that money is going to come from. That brings in the bulk of the revenue from your television deal, and how that all kind of plays out will be interesting. So that's the one other thing that you watch. One other thing just to keep an eye on today that has kind of gone by the wayside, Patrick, in the last few weeks as conference realignment has really kicked up more is, do we get Greg Sankey talking about scheduling formats today? Remember, this was kind of, we all thought that maybe in Destin we would get some kind of answer as to the scheduling format and what the SEC might do, whether it be the 3 permanents and 6 rotating or the 1 and 7 deal. That is the one other thing that I think you could actually get legitimate information out of Greg Sankey today, is if he's willing to really step in and say, okay, here's the direction we've really decided to go as it pertains to scheduling. And I think for South Carolina fans, I think for fans across the SEC, we were talking about, obviously, you and I have talked about Georgia and Texas A&M, the fact that Georgia has not visited Texas A&M. Alabama visiting Florida last year was like the first time in 11 years that's happened. Is today a day where we actually learn a little bit more about what the SEC may or may not do in terms of schedule?
That would make sense, because it was the hot topic for a while, and then with the realignment, we kind of said, oh wait, so we might as well just stop talking about this, because looks like everyone's going to get to 20, and then we're just going to have 2 10-team conferences or 2 10-team divisions within the conference again. So we kind of paused the scheduling talk until we could figure out what the SEC was going to actually do. So it does make sense, and I think the one permanent opponent model is not going to work. The 1-3 model, it has to. I think it's got to be the 3 permanent opponent models. But if he gave us that information, that would be interesting. Give us something to talk about. We can start doing our lists and pairing off the teams again. So that's actually an interesting point that was a huge discussion point that just completely fell off recently.
803-404-6100. We will continue talking about this and get into more when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Right. Gotcha.
Kind of a lot happening here, trying to do about 3 different things right now. It takes one day to get accustomed to what we're doing here and trying to pull up a few things. That works. At some point, I've got to find coffee here or something. I'm going to have to figure out how to download the Starbucks app. There's a Starbucks right across the street, but I highly doubt I can get over there and back during a break.
We could probably cover.
Possibly, yeah. And it may be asked of y'all. Otherwise, the live stream may show me with my head down because I did not sleep good. At what age? Well, I was thinking of this question about 3 a.m. Are you considered old when you start taking your pillow to the hotel room to your hotel stays?
No, you're just smart.
Is that where? Because I left my pillow and I was using the hotel pillows last night, and they were not good. I mean, I had all four of them under my head just to be propped up. (803-404-6100) if you want to weigh in this morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen I am live from Atlanta, the College Football Hall of Fame. SEC Media Days getting underway in just a few hours, and that will kind of lead us into, Patrick, the official start to college football season here, as we will do this week, next Thursday. It'll be the Birdies with Beamer golf tournament that Shane will speak with the local media. Beamer expected to speak tomorrow, providing nothing goes wrong. Shane will speak with the media tomorrow. I believe his official, if you want to watch on television and catch him on the SEC network, his official main room appearance will come at 2:25 tomorrow afternoon, 2:25 to 2:55. South Carolina will arrive around here in Atlanta around 12:30 to 12:45, and will start doing their rounds at 1 o'clock. If I'm reading this correctly, the breakdown of where Shane will be and what he'll be doing. Again, tomorrow, he will be live on the main stage from 2:25 to 2:55, and then will be on the SEC network set, I believe, from 4 to 4:15. So if you want to schedule appropriately there, obviously we will work to get he and some of the players here with us tomorrow as well as they join us. Today, again, a little bit more of a lighter day. Greg Sankey, Patrick, will be the guy that highlights it. And again, in talking with people yesterday, what I just mentioned to you is the scheduling. I think that is the thing that we get the most information of today, but maybe not. Maybe Greg Sankey focuses on something else. But that is something that, talking about conference realignment, it really doesn't matter if I only get to see Texas or Oklahoma once every 11 or 12 years. I don't really care if they're in the conference at that point, if I'm only seeing them once every 11 or 12 years. I'm of the opinion, you know what, if you're going to have these massive conferences, you've got to find a way for teams to play each other at least once every 4 years, if not twice every 4 years.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to be the 3 permanent opponent model, because it's the only way to rotate everyone in. You'll have a home and away game every other year. So a kid that plays 4 years will have a chance to host and travel to every school in the conference. And you'll also be able to keep the rivalries that are really important to SEC fan bases. You won't lose you'll never lose the Iron Bowl. They wouldn't let it happen, but you're not going to lose probably the cocktail party or things like that. They'll be able to keep those together. You'll keep Alabama, Tennessee, which is important to the conference. So I think that's pretty much a foregone conclusion. But I also wonder, because it was interesting that the idea that Brett Yermark suggested that he would let Texas and Oklahoma buy themselves out of their Big 12 contracts early. They could potentially use that money to help strengthen their position going forward, helping lower other schools, whatever the deal might be, knowing that Texas and Oklahoma won't be there for the long term. They might be okay with just taking a big lump sum from those 2 universities and saying, let's move forward with what that conference is actually going to look like going forward, and stop trying to milk these 2 teams for everything they're worth. So if that was the case, it would be very relevant, and the scheduling model would potentially go into effect next year, I guess. Like, they could really just blow up the schedule for next year and say, here's what we're doing. These are your 3 permanent opponents, and now Texas and Oklahoma are on all your schedules.
One thing to just keep in mind, the SEC signed a new $300 million deal with ESPN not too long ago, back in 2021, and that included Texas and Oklahoma. The reason I bring that up is there's a lot of people again who believe that deal was signed with the thought, with the opinion of adding those schools, and to kind of like the grant of rights. It's a little bit different, Patrick, but we talk about the scheduling. Now you talk about, go back to the realignment and the television deal. And again, something that you will hear Greg Sankey address today, but to what extent is to be determined. But what is interesting in that is ESPN has got that deal in place. There's not a lot of incentive to go back and rework a deal if, say, a North Carolina, Virginia, a Clemson, a Florida State came in. And what I mean by that is, if you've got this deal already in place and the SEC adds on to other schools, that's taking away pieces of the pie, chunks of the pie from the current 16-team setup. It is something to keep in mind. I don't know, a lot of people that I talked to just yesterday, again, hanging around, we're not exactly sure what exactly the details of the contract are in terms of being able to renegotiate and maybe add more on to the particular deal. But it does sound like that's something you have to take into account. So scheduling, television contracts, realignment, I think the big 3 things that Greg Sankey people will want to hear him to address today. And the question will be is, how much detail does he get into it? The scheduling, as you were just talking about, certainly a big one there for South Carolina fans already wanting to think ahead and maybe make that scheduling plans for heading to Austin or to Norman, Oklahoma.
The adding teams to a deal that's already been negotiated is an interesting sort of twist, because when the Pac-12 and Big 12 and Big 10 are all looking at new television rights deals, they're going through the calculus of, if we add this team, how much more money is it going to bring to the overall pie? Is it even worth adding this team? But the SEC, that deal's already it is already signed. So it's like, if you add one more team, then we're just taking away from what we're already generating. So if you were to take a team from, I don't even know what the answer is. If you take a team from the ACC, which has already got a grant of rights deal with ESPN, would ESPN be more or less inclined to renegotiate because you're taking a team that it seems like they'd get a worse deal if the SEC were to say, we're adding North Carolina no matter what it takes. And they spent a bunch of money to get North Carolina out, and ESPN's losing them from the ACC network, but also adding them to the SEC network. And I don't understand really how the money would move around there, or how it would benefit them to renegotiate.
Yeah, and that's part of it. And look, we know the geography and tradition is not part of realignment, and so what it is money. It's money driven, and it's conferences gaining more money and becoming more powerful. And the bottom line on that is, you've got to have something in place. You've got to have something in place there that enhances your television contract. And right now, that's television markets, not necessarily name brand football programs. Southern Cal, and because Oregon and Washington are fairly solid name brand football programs, you would agree with that, Patrick. But the problem you've got here is that they don't really bring the great television markets that you necessarily want, even though you would think Seattle going into Portland, those are two television markets you think you want. But if that was the case, you would think the Big Ten would already be jumping all over them.
Yeah, and the market part is interesting because I saw Andy Staples did a big thing talking about viewership, looking at the viewership numbers, and he saw that Washington State has tons of viewers added to every game. So if you were just looking for markets, I mean, you want the name brand programs as well as the markets. And by the time these deals are over, the ACC network deal and the SC network deal are over, I think we'll be completely done with television markets mattering. I think it'll all be streaming platforms. So this is probably the last time we'll have this discussion.
Well, you got to remember ESPN Plus. It's going up to $9.99 for just ESPN Plus, but there's your streaming platform. Somebody also pointed out earlier, anonymous texter said,
but you still need to have the SEC network to get the SEC network and the SEC network Plus on ESPN.
Right, but I mean, I still where you're going to get it, and we'll see. And Disney Plus, as somebody pointed out, would also be the streaming platform. That would be awesome to be able to watch. I don't know, whatever Disney channel, whatever Disney show you wanted to watch, and then flip over and then watch an SEC football game as well, just on your Disney package right there. That would be something that would confuse a lot of people. 803-404-6100. Again, Bill Gunner here in Atlanta at the SEC Media Day. Patrick Brett, Jen Jensen, we got you covered. We're holding it down. Jay Phillips is ready to go later this afternoon. Heath Klein is extremely fired up. You should have seen him last night. We are ready to bring you coverage here for the next 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from the College Football Hall of Fame and SEC Media Days. Anything that happens, we will be on site and ready to get you all the information. So you don't want to go anywhere the next few days, especially the next 2.5 hours. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Books are just 35 cents.
Okay, we can all breathe now.
Don't send your kids back to school. Send them forward at Staples. You do not want to miss U.S. carpet and air cleaning all 15% off.
Craig, I'm wearing long sleeves in here. I didn't know how cold, so it being too hot for coffee in the morning is not a problem. I am not a person who enjoys being cold. I did try that chili yesterday, and that was a little bit too hot for summertime. That just reinforces chili during the summertime is not the best option.
Not a good thing. Unless you're eating on hot dogs and air conditioning, maybe. Chili dog?
That would actually be okay. But yeah, it was a cup of chili. I wanted brisket chili, and I wanted to try it, but it was all right. A little spicy, but it was good. The burnt ends, that was just so much food. I've had indigestion in my chest for the last 8 hours. That was another reason I didn't sleep good last night. I'm getting old. I don't do well with apparently going to hotels now.
I do take my own pillow at times, which it's not a terrible thing, you know. Gotta get comfortable.
I wish I had brought the own pillow. I wish I had brought that. Jen, we'll play a little bit of Connor Shaw, number 1, when we come back.
Okay.
Play that. Say we'll play 1 and 2. I'll play 1. We'll talk about it, and then we'll get to 2, and that'll be the hour.
Okay. Yeah, that other for some reason that other email that had the other audio you were looking for was in my spam.
Okay.
No idea. So that's why I was like, I don't see anything.
Oh, is Gamecock Larry still on the line?
He is. He actually made notes, so he would, speak clearly.
All right, we'll play that. I'll just tease it, then we'll go to him, and then if we have time, I'll come back to the other. I'll play the first Connor Shaw, and then I'll go to Gamecock Larry. If we got time, I'll play the other one.
Okay.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire. On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
You guys are up.
Live from SEC Media Day, the College Football Hall of Fame. Whereas I look up Patrick, let's see here what I've got right in front. I have to take a picture of this. It's a wall right in front of me. Behind me is the setup here for SEC Media Day. The tables, the main room, the big video board that Greg Sankey will be at here in just a little while. But in front of me is a little television that keeps showing me highlights. And then let's see here. There's some writing. 5-5. It says number of yards needed to gain a first down prior to 1906. Did you know that?
5. It was 5 yards.
I did not know this. I have not read this wall right here in front of me until just now.
Wait, are you in like an exhibit?
Yeah, no, we are in the
Okay.
we are in the exhibit, so you can see.
Oh yeah, nice.
So there you go. You see right there, 5 is in front of me here.
I enjoyed the College Football Hall of Fame. I did learn a lot. I probably lost all of the information as soon as I left, but there were some cool things.
Let's see, 6 points for a touchdown since 1912. You guys want to take a guess how many points for a touchdown before 1897?
3.
Wow, that's amazing that both of y'all managed to split that. It was 4. 4 is the answer I'm going for. So yeah, all kinds of things. So we got a good little setup here. You get our live stream. Go to youtube.com, search, click subscribe, and join there. Last Friday, Heath Klein was at Hall's Chop House, and a lot of great guests on with him. One of which was Connor Shaw. Connor Shaw stopping by to hang out with Heath Klein. Connor Shaw, number 4 on our list of top 30 Gamecocks of the SEC era, and he talked a little bit about some signature moments at the SEC during his time. Here's what Connor Shaw had to say with Heath Klein last Friday afternoon. That's Connor Shaw there joining Heath Klein. We'll get you some more audio from that. Both Connor Shaw and Steve Spurrier joined Heath Klein on Friday afternoon to talk about the list, our top 30 list of Gamecocks of the SEC era. We'll get you some more audio from Connor and Steve Spurrier, who again popped in on Heath. Didn't stop at Paul's Chop House, but actually called in. So we'll get you more of that. A man with a list of his own, and from what I understand, notes. I apologize, Gamecock Larry. I'm not in studio, so I forgot that you were on hold right off the bat. So I'll take all the blame this morning for keeping you on hold for roughly 50 some odd minutes because I don't have the screen right in front of me to remember to look up and see your name and phone number. But I understand you have a top 10 list of your own you would like to share this morning. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Some Gamecock on there, then I'll turn it up a little bit. Go Gamecocks, go Gamecock, Larry, so kick it going. Go Gamecock.
What was that last part? He's kicking something? Did you catch that?
I'm not sure.
I'm kicking a cold. That would make
I
sense.
don't know. That's what the closest that I could.
That would make sense. Well, let's
Yeah.
make sure that he's okay. But yeah, it'd be good to hear from him. He's got his own list. Yeah, we'll for the last
Not too different from the 107.5 game listeners. It just he didn't have Devo Samuel or Melvin Ingram in his top 10. Instead, he had Ryan Suckup and AJ Can. Everything else was the same.
Understandable. I think it was Travell Wharton, though, that didn't give up a sack, if I remember correctly. I think it was Travell Wharton that he was thinking of there. So it was, look, a very good list. We will obviously continue to talk about it with Patrick, and you had Jadeveon Clowney, and then Alshon Jeffrey, number one there on the list as we wrapped up on Friday. And we'll talk more about that this morning. Again, it was Connor Shaw and Steve Spurrier joining Heath Klein. And here's a little bit more on Steve Spurrier changing his offense for the skill set of Connor Shaw that they talked about on Friday afternoon with Heath Klein and Paul's Chop House.
Great coaches kind of bend their system around the skill set of their players, and I'm very thankful that Coach Spurrier and Coach Elliott, he came in 2010, the same time that I came in, running a lot of the zone read scheme at Appalachian State. And so to install a lot of that, I think Coach Spurrier trusted him, trusted Coach Mangus, and Spurrier Jr. and some of those play calling and the scheme that sort of was something that you wouldn't identify Coach Spurrier doing in the mid-90s in Florida. But again, we had the skill set in our roster to do something a little bit different than Coach Spurrier was used to back then, and it worked out for us.
Patrick, we'll talk a little bit about what he said there. Adjusting your roster to fit your skill set. Spencer Rattler will not be here this week, but you got to imagine he is going to be talked about as a player that will have to lead South Carolina to something successful this year. And part of that is going to be Marcus Satterfield adjusting his skills, adjusting his offense to fit Spencer Rattler's skill set.
To fit Spencer Rattler's skill set and the weapons that he's got at his disposal, which is all. I mean, there's no shortage of them this year. And then also we've got some clarification on the text line of what Gamecock likes. Apparently, it's kicking and crowing.
Kicking and crowing. Okay, that could very well be what it was. Kicking and crowing.
Makes sense. Trash talking season is coming.
It is. Trash talking season really gets underway later this morning when Brian Kelly steps to the podium along with Greg Sankey. Maybe Brian Kelly will show up with his great Asian accent and entertain us all. At least that's what we'll try to do the next 2 hours. It's the early game. I want to survive the game.
Fair.
The home of the game. 107.
Yeah, I don't understand because I'll go check the other computer, but I think everything's plugged in. We should have been able to hear Larry.
No, I think Jen, I think what you did, because I was testing something, I think you just jumped into the there's a test one we have in there.
Okay.
Like if you pull up the live stream, I think you put it in the test one and you just gotta jump out of that one and pop into this one.
Okay, you know what? You're right. I don't see us on here. Okay, that's what.
Yeah, I think that's all you did.
Okay, we would check that out.
T-shirt budget is, double it and trust Palmetto Shirt Company to deliver your shirts. T-shirts build identity.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Yeah, I meant to tell you that earlier because I got on the test one just to see how it looked, and I heard it, and it kind of threw me off, but then I figured it out.
Yeah.
But of all I was trying to get set up here, not let the bosses down.
Yeah, I get it. Been a little hectic.
Especially when I got to the front door and there was nobody there to let me in here at the College Football Hall of Fame.
Small problem. Mm-hmm.
All right, I think in the next break I will try and go down and get a Dr. Pepper or something.
Sounds like a plan. Oh. I'm honestly struggling with one leg because I did bar 3 Friday and Saturday, and I haven't done that really for 5 weeks, because of surgery. Oh my gosh. My legs are, I'm struggling. Struggling a little bit. Not gonna lie. Quads are barking.
So you were just out of commission all weekend?
Yeah. No, I'm still moving, but I'll tell you, for some reason this morning it's just, I'm trying to stretch and it's killing me to stretch.
Hey, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I thought I passed it. Maybe.
All right.
Elite Lawn and Landscape and Pope Davis Tire on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Hour number 2 from Atlanta, the College Football Hall of Fame here as we creep closer to Greg Sankey coming to the mic this morning to address the SEC Nation and give us maybe a little bit of insight into the future of the SEC, whether it is conference realignment, whether it is scheduling plans, television contracts, or I don't know if you guys saw, maybe it's just the next great partnership. Did you see the big partnership yesterday that the SEC has signed on 3-year deal? You guys in touch with that? Did we see who?
The official baked bean of the Southeastern Conference?
That is right. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Bush's baked beans are ready to go. I have not gotten my can yet.
Who else could
here.
it be, Who's another baked beans company?
I have no clue. I have zero idea.
The thing is, if I was Bush's, I wouldn't even spend any money on marketing because you're the only baked beans anybody buys.
I'm sure somebody out there knows maybe of a few more. But
There are. I grew up with a different brand.
Do you know the name of it?
Is it Vandecamps or Van Camps?
Are you? We don't know. Don't ask us. You're the one that's got to be able to
One of the
answer.
two.
We don't know. Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I think it was Van Camps.
Yeah.
Camps. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I typed in baked beans brands.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
so
Heinz has beans apparently, but
Really?
Bush's is the king of the beans.
Absolutely.
3-year sponsorship, including official beans designation, along with ads and integration on the SEC network. So that was from.
What's your power ranking of beans, Bill? What's your favorite bean? Is baked beans your number one beans?
We've done this, I think, back from Memorial Day or something like that. Yeah, I think we well, we got
We
into
can't have refried beans. Refried beans would be my number
Yeah,
one.
no,
Black
You can't have that on
beans.
Memorial Day.
baked beans and then probably black beans. I'll put black beans in eggs a little bit, put them in some salads a little bit to kind of do a summer salad. So yeah, that would be
Like jelly beans.
one. I'm not a jelly
like
beans
jelly
are
beans
a
either.
very awkward thing for me because I'm not a huge jelly beans fan, but around Easter time, if there's a bag laying around for some reason, I cannot help myself but to take a handful. Then you get like the one licorice one,
Right.
or
that just throws off your taste buds for like 10 minutes.
it
Yeah.
just ruins the whole experience. So yeah, I'm not a jelly beans kind of person. I gotta kind of stay away from that. So yeah, baked beans with bacon and hamburger meat in them. That's the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have a scoop. Like I'll have one little scoop. If you have the big serving spoon, I'll have one scoop of that. It's okay.
Okay.
I can't just like dig into a bowl of baked beans.
They're too heavy.
That's a little much.
And that's why I find it interesting, like in the summertime, having those, because to me, that's hot and heavy. Like Bill was talking about how chili is hot and heavy, but yet cookouts, gotta have baked beans. I'm like, no.
Agreed.
No.
It does not fit in with you put it hand in hand with like potato salad and macaroni salad because that's just what's generally served on Memorial Day and the 4th of July and just grill outs. Yep. But they really don't go together.
No, I've never understood it.
So yeah, so we are excited here. I will keep everybody updated on as soon as we get our official cans of Bush's baked beans from the hospitality suite here later on. Hopefully, plenty of baked beans to bring back home.
1075 branded Duke's mayo and Bush's baked beans.
There's
what delicacies can you make with mayo and baked beans? Like, they're gonna have a cooking contest.
Hamburgers with mayo and baked beans on the side. There you go. That's what we've got going. So we got here yesterday. We have enjoyed the first few hours up and running this morning. Radio Row starting to pick up a little bit as people trickle in here and get going again. Schedule for today. We'll have you updated throughout the morning. We got a great setup right here. Right behind me where the main event will be happening, the main stage down there. And as it happens throughout the day, Jay Phillips will be able to look over his shoulder. Heath Klein will be able to look over their shoulder and see what exactly is taking place. But the main stuff for today, it'll get going. There's actually a nice little brunch. I think this is new. I was unaware of this, but I think this is new. Brunch for us media folk here from 10 to 11:30. And I don't have to tell you, after just talking about baked beans and potentially free baked beans, media folk love free food. We are more than happy. Yeah, we pretty much accept any free food whatsoever. So a brunch coming up at 10 to 11:30. But then at 11:30 this morning, Greg Sankey will take to the podium right behind me. And again, it'll be the State of the Union address. What does he say? 11:45 is the actual listed time. 11:45 to 12:15 is what he will talk about this morning and what he'll get into. And we'll get back into, Patrick, what we think he may discuss, because obviously there will be time to break down LSU. Brian Kelly will be here later today, 12:30 to 1:05. Brian Kelly will be addressing the media. Then we'll have Lane Kiffin today from 2:30 to 3 o'clock, and then Eli Drinkowitz from 3:55 to 4:25. So 3 coaches here later today: Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin, and Eli Drinkowitz. But the interesting person today is Greg Sankey and the future of college football. We'll have a lot of time to break down LSU or Ole Miss or Missouri. The main storylines this week will be the future of the SEC in college football.
Yeah. And I'm just, by the way, when is Big Ten Media Days? Did that happen? Do people care about that?
They do care up there. They don't do it quite. Media days are an interesting concept because they're growing quickly. I'll give you a real quick, just another thing that was discussed last night by all the media nerds up here. Likely next year, the general feeling, and this is something else that nobody else will care about, but all the media members will be intently listening to this morning, is if Greg Sankey announces what he announces for future media days. And people go, oh, I don't give a crap about that. I'm not going. Well, media guys do. And it's two things. It's twofold on that. One, next year is expected to be in Nashville. Well, you got a bunch of kind of dorky media guys, and to be able to get out and go to a town and do something, they get very excited. So what you get first is, oh, Nashville, that'd be a fun trip. But two, there are questions at some point. The general feeling is we're heading to Jerry World for a Texas SEC media day. Is it next year, the year before Texas and Oklahoma come into town, or is it in 2024 potentially when they could be coming in? So there was a lot of discussion about that last night, just as it pertained to like future media days. One, because guys want to be able to plan vacations around here, and two, because it also could signal an idea of when potentially Oklahoma and Texas are arriving in the league.
Isn't that a bad idea, though?
What?
Leaving the footprint
for media day?
To go to Texas?
No, it doesn't matter.
It does, though, because there's a lot of people that it does, because there's a lot of stations that aren't going to be able to send people to them.
No, there will be. You've got to.
No, there will be plenty that can, but there are television stations in Alabama and in Georgia and in Tennessee that are short drives from Atlanta or Birmingham or Mobile or wherever you want to do it, that are in the footprint and they can drive. No, they can't drive to Texas, and there's certain stations that aren't going to fly multiple people out there to go attend media days, pay for round trip flights to Dallas, and put them up in hotels for several days. There's plenty of stations, radio stations and television stations, that are not going to be able to afford that. And newspapers, they're going to leave it up to everyone to go pay for their own travel to get out to media days.
No, you'd be surprised. The stuff that we see here it's trust me. I was looking. I'll get you.
What are you seeing from local television stations that's leading you to believe that they have oozing money and can fly anybody out to Texas?
Patrick,
the SEC's got unlimited money. The television stations that cover the conference do not.
Patrick, like 2 years before pre-COVID, 2019, there was something like 1,600 credentials given out.
What's that got to do with anything?
You know what credentials are?
Yes.
Who are credentials given to?
To media.
Okay, that's by far the highest attended media day across the board.
That's not the point.
Well, it is. If those are the people going, like the SEC, I get it that you've never been, but you don't understand. Like people, this is part when people do their budgets for the year. Most of those television stations, they factor in this trip. Now,
yeah, but almost everyone there is driving.
Some, yeah, again, it's the same thing.
But if you put it in Texas, no one's driving.
No, but then I suspect that at that point you're getting it underwritten. Like they're, now you've got sponsors that are underwriting.
Yeah,
like they'll get there.
I'm telling you, people will be there. It's not where it's at is going to be kind of irrelevant. People will go. Now, if it was an every year thing, then I might be on board with you. They're going to do it one time there. It's going to happen. And taking it out of the footprint is really, you're going to have plenty of television coverage. You're going to have plenty. And at the end of the day, I can't really tell you how, like, for certain people, how important it is being able to come to one of these things. But you'll have people go. That first year in Dallas, it's going to be very well attended. I can guarantee that. Now, to your point, maybe years afterwards, I'm not
correct.
So sure.
And I agree, Patrick. I don't think that that's something that people are going to be too happy with, because I think they need it to be more accessible. Yeah. But I think for a special, like for a 1 year or once every 4 years, I think they'll make it happen.
A lot of the questions kind of centered just on this event. Remember a couple of years ago, prior to the pandemic, the SEC was really making a push to make this more fan friendly. And I'll give you an example. I think it was 20. We were discussing this last night. I think it was 2018 is the last time we were here. And the last time we were here, this was really, and I'll be interested to see later today how it works. But in 2018, where I'm sitting up here on the which is, Patrick, you've been here kind of I don't know, I don't want to call it the upper deck because that doesn't do it justice, but in the walk area up here around the main room down there is where all the attractions and the memorabilia is and everything. Well, a couple years ago, if you came here to watch SEC Media Day, you could walk up here. You could be here for SEC Media Day. They had across the street at the park, they had some things going on, some concerts. You know, you could go over there and play cornhole. It was kind of like a tailgate. It was more of a fan-friendly event. I have not seen it promoted as much as a fan-friendly event this year. Like, for example, if you were to come here to watch Nick Saban or Shane Beamer, someone walk through and go into the main room. 4 years ago, you could come upstairs and then check out the College Football Hall of Fame and kind of stand up here on the glass windows and watch what was going on. Well, obviously, this year I'm occupying, and not just I, but many other radio stations from across the Southeast are occupying this spot. So when you come to the College Football Hall of Fame right now, it's not even geared as a fan-friendly, to me right now, it's not geared as a fan-friendly event. It is a media-driven type deal. So I don't know if that's a drastic change, because 4 years ago when it came to Atlanta, they were starting to promote this thing as, oh, we're going to make it a traveling summer road show for the SEC. We want fans to be heavily involved. I'm not 100% sure that that's still the mindset here.
Yeah, and I don't know what they can do to make it more fan friendly. I mean, it would just have to be things like, I guess, around the city and around the College Football Hall of Fame, because showing up to watch the coaches walk in and out and then watching them give 30-minute speeches on TV it's not interesting. Like, even watching it on TV all day, I'm not interested by it. I'll watch Shane Beamer talk and I'll watch the highlights of the other coaches, but just 30-minute press conferences and every coach giving a pitch on why their team is going to be great this year and why things are trending up at their programs, and all the first year coaches talking about how great it is to be at this event. Like, that's boring. Like, it's just not geared to be a fan friendly event. I understand them trying to milk money out of everything, and it's the whole idea of this being sort of the unofficial start to football season is nice because everyone's football starved and all they want to do is talk about their teams. But other than meeting other fans and talking ball, like, what's interesting about it?
Yeah, no, it's fun for me to be here to kind of be behind the scenes and see some things. As a fan, though, you're right. Like, they had the park out there, and again, a couple years ago, they had it set up where, you could bring your kids and they'd have the little, like, football combine drills, throw the football through the hoops and run through the little inflated guys or whatever. I will go back out there and look. I don't remember seeing that yesterday or seeing any of that. So we'll kind of keep an update on that.
I mean, they just need to tell the teams, like, hey, you got to bring a dozen players with you, and you're going to have 3 players talking to the media, and then the other
a couple outside with the fans,
signing autographs.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, 2018, I believe, is the year that we were here, and I believe they had some concerts out there and some things of that nature. We'll continue talking about that. We'll definitely get back into the Open Championship, the British Open taking place over the weekend, and never felt worse for an athlete to lose than I did yesterday. We'll talk about that and get Patrick's take on that, get you some Cam Smith audio as well. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Away from the house for SEC Media Days, and made sure I left the house in nice, good-looking working order. I didn't want to leave a dirty house. I needed to get in touch with Zero Res and get them out with their patented ZR water technology. They make sure everything is scientifically proven to keep your rugs, your towel, your upholstery all insanely clean. And right now, it's the best time to make sure that Zero Res is taking care of your house. Give them a phone call today, 803-262-4020. Get Zero Res out to your house. 15% off all cleaning services. That's right. Everything, your carpets, your rugs, your towel, your upholstery, even your air ducts. Zero Res has got you taken care of. You just need to remind them of my name, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 15% off all cleaning services. That's right. Again, carpets, area rugs, upholstery, towel, air ducts, everything. That patented ZR water technology, I'm telling you what, it will make your house look absolutely beautiful. So don't wait any longer. Get in touch with Zero Res today, 803-262-4020, or you can book online with ease, ZeroResColumbia.com. If so, make sure you use the promo code SUMMER sale is the way to do that. Zero Res has been taking care of my family. They'll do the same for you. Make sure your house, your carpet, your rugs, your towel all looks insanely clean. 803-262-4020. Or again, you can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
Couple of accidents to let you know about. Alpine Road, Alpine Road northbound at I-20. There is a report of an accident there. Also, Highway 6 north and southbound at Blackville Road. If you're in that area, watch for an accident there, so be careful. As far as forecast goes, we are looking for hot and humid conditions. Heat indexes over 100 for at least through Wednesday, 93 for the high today, 94 tomorrow, and a chance for afternoon and evening storms for the next few days. Right now, it's sunny, 75 at 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler Jeans. Visit Wrangler.com for the best in denim. Wrangler for the ride of life. Today's birthday shout-out goes to 82-year-old Joe Torre.
That would not go well. Not really. Not really go well for me, Tommy. Not that kind of eater.
You would just end up getting so full so fast.
I mean, you would, I guess. I was full very quickly yesterday off of all that. I really probably should have gotten some kind of a vegetable too.
Probably.
We've come a long way. Apparently, we were doing this on Facebook Live back in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, quite the improvement.
Just big time. Oh, Travis. It's a special team.
I had a high school reunion over the weekend that I didn't get to make. I was trying to look back at some of the pictures real quick. See how everybody did.
Going to one in August.
Oh, boy.
My 5-year reunion.
Your what?
Boy, that got your attention. This is my 5-year reunion.
5-year reunion.
Yeah, not so much.
What about tomorrow? What are we going to do tomorrow?
SEC Media Days?
Isn't tomorrow a big day? Do I not have that correctly on my calendar? Is my calendar incorrect?
Does Beamer talk tomorrow?
He does. A celebratory, a celebratory birthday speech, I believe he's giving.
That's awesome. Good for him. He's well in the know.
I think someone's turning 29.
I didn't realize Patrick was that old.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Thought you were going to get away with that one, didn't you now?
Just kind of assumed. No such luck. Hopefully today starts better than today.
Yeah, they actually were talking about this last night about the Cubs losing those games to the Mets.
I've got nothing, because just when you think they couldn't go a little bit lower, they do. Oh my gosh.
Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
7:23 on your Monday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen, as we are live from SEC Media Days here at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, hanging out, taking in the sights and sounds. Things now starting to really pick up around here again. It really won't get going that strong until about 11:45 when Greg Sankey gets in and starts talking. But right now, people starting to stream in to do radio shows. Down below me, the television crews are getting set up, getting the productions, getting the cameras, getting the lighting all set up. So the College Football Hall of Fame yesterday was closed, so none of us were able to get inside to get set up. So I was up bright and early, even though I had about a 5-minute walk next door from our hotel to here. I was up bright and early to make sure everything was working properly. And yesterday, a busy day. Patrick, we've talked about it a little bit. A very entertaining Open Championship, very entertaining British Open. Now, I think you fall in the category, though, of you love the scoring when you see 20 under par, 19 under par, 19 under par. You see all the scoring. Are you a fan of that? Because I got to admit, in majors, I pull more for the lower scores, closer to even par, with guys making mistakes and birdies being hard to come by.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back and forth. It's cool when someone just absolutely is locked in like Cam Smith was. But, I mean, Rory had a fine round. He was still under par on Sunday, but that was the difference, is one golfer struggled and one golfer was just completely tearing it up. So, I mean, we did see that a little bit. Like, obviously, Rory was still going under par. It wasn't like he's making bogeys when he's trying to hold off Cam Smith, but Cam Smith was just that ridiculously good. So, no, I think it's cool to see someone knocking down long putts like that. But I also do – no, I generally I think I would prefer to see the best players in the world struggle. And we saw it at times. I mean, Hovland had a tough Sunday. He got stuck in the tall grass several times and was just doing the best he could to just get it out of there. Couldn't even really aim it or put it near the green. So it gave us a little bit. It gave us a little bit of everything. Not everybody completely tore the course up.
Granted,
you say most people did, because it was 20, 19, 18, 17.
Yeah.
The top 10-ish were all 10 plus under, but there were a couple of people that played themselves out of contention on Sunday.
Chuck weighs in on our live stream, says Roy played well, but protecting the lead got him beat. I didn't think he played. He didn't make some putts. I mean, it was as simple as that. He had some very makeable putts early on that easily could have won him the round. Or I say won him the round. I guess I looked at it as he's missing those early birdie putts, makeable birdie putts on 3, 4, 5, and I think it was 6. That as I'm watching it, Patrick, I thought, man, that would really apply the pressure to Victor Hovland, who, of course, at that time was right there with him. it was Cam Smith who got going late. And I'll say the same thing. If he makes those putts and he pushes that lead out to 4 or 5 strokes, 6 strokes early on, maybe Cam Smith isn't allowed to get into rhythm the way he did, because when Cam Smith, and you just mentioned it, when Cameron Smith got into rhythm yesterday, what he did was probably one of the most, I mean, I watched Tiger Woods play, and Tiger could get hot and dominate, but Tiger also was very methodical, and it seemed like he could cruise until he was pushed, and then when he was pushed, he'd make the big shot. Cam Smith yesterday just started ripping birdie after birdie after birdie, and just, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it.
I mean, it was one of the best final rounds ever at a British Open. So not many people have ever done what he's done at all. It was insanity, and he just did it with the plainest face. Like, never cracked a smile. It didn't even look like he was that emotional when he won. He was just like, yeah, this is cool. I won a British Open. I liked his line. He said, I'm gonna see how many beers can fit in this thing by the end of the day for sure. He's just kind of a cool customer.
You weren't a huge fan of him when we played the audio on Thursday, but
no, that was Cam Young. We played Cam Young's audio.
No, I thought I was. I'll go back.
Because Cam Smith's Australian, and we played an American's audio.
Okay.
Cam Young was leading after the first 2 rounds.
Cam Young, by the way, I had to go back and look at this. You saw that he has the baseball patch on the Major League Baseball patch on all of his stuff. Did you see that over the weekend?
I did not see that.
He is sponsored by Major League Baseball. I was kind of going back because I started to wonder about that. Cameron Young was a great story, and I kind of started to pull for him more. Talking about him playing there. I think he was 9 or 10 years old on a family vacation and playing and having a good time, and them having to get special permission for him to play from the back plates, as they call it. All in all, the storylines there at this particular major, Patrick, they were really good. I mean, this was a really well, I think, covered. I thought it was neat to learn more about the town of St. Andrews. There was a lot about this tournament that I really enjoyed, but I really came away yesterday feeling bad for Rory McIlroy. And I don't know if fascinated is the right word, but I am interested to see how his career moves from here, because this is a blow to him. It felt like this was something. He's become good friends with Tiger. He stood up for the PGA. He's really been kind of one of the major voices against the LIV Golf Tour. And plus, on top of all that, he's just trying to win another major, something he hadn't done in 8 years. And it's within his grasp yesterday, and it looks like he's got it. And Cam Smith goes out and just takes it from him. Cam Smith went out and won that thing. It wasn't Rory falling apart. He did miss some putts, but Rory didn't fall apart. Cam Smith went and won that golf tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Rory's going to feel like he fell apart just because he couldn't knock down one single birdie putt like all day long. He just couldn't knock down a tough putt. 36 putts in his final round is not going to play. But I don't feel as bad for Rory as I do Will Zalatoris, because Will Zalatoris hasn't won anything. Granted, this would have meant a lot for Rory to win at St. Andrews, and I guess the next time they play there, he'll be 38. So he can obviously win it in his 40s, but in terms of just being in his prime, this was maybe one of his last chances. You never know what the golf world is going to look like when he's 38. So I do feel bad for him, but really, he needs the Masters more than anything. He needs to complete that Grand Slam.
That's a good point, too. And he just needs to continue to play well. 803-404-6100. We'll get back into some College Football Hall of Fame, continue talking about the British Open. If you want to weigh in this morning, again, that phone number, 803-404-6100, or you can go to youtube.com and join us on our live stream. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Feeling good, getting yourself back to living the lifestyle you want to live, that's important to do. And with KC Chiropractic Center, they are in the business of getting people out of pain and back to living the way you have wanted to. Don't hesitate any longer. Call the doctors Pate and Roman Cooper at KC Chiropractic this morning and get you an appointment lined up. 803-796-2424. They file all major insurance plans. So if you're a little worried about that, don't be. KC Chiropractic files all major insurance plans. And at KC Chiropractic, there are no excessive crazy care plans of treatment, or they're not trying to scare you to get you to come back. It is a run. It is a pay-as-you-go practice, and they run it with integrity and with professionalism that is expected from doctors trying to get you back to the best health you can be in. So if you've been experiencing low back pain, mid back pain, if you've had headaches, leg and arm numbness, they treat all ages, and they will get you back to living the lifestyle, getting you mobile, active, outside like you always enjoy doing. So don't wait any longer. Call Casey Chiropractic today for a consultation. To get in touch with them, the phone number is 803-796-2424. They've been serving the Midlands since 1962. These are people you can trust. They've been in business, and now is the time to call them. 803-796-2424. That's Casey Chiropractic Center.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
Alpine Road northbound at I-20. There is an accident there to be cautious about. Also, Highway 6, both north and southbound at Blackville Road, a report of an accident in Lexington County. And I-26 eastbound at Lake Murray Boulevard. That would be exit 102. The on-ramp is partially blocked, so be careful on the on-ramp there. That's your forecast for today. It's going to be warm, actually, for the next several days. Heat indexes 99 today, and then over 100 for the next 2 days, 93 for your high, effectively. But 30% chance for some afternoon and evening storms today, tomorrow, Wednesday. So kind of in that, hot July weather. Right now, though, it's sunny, and it's 75 at 107.5 The Game.
Hey, if you've got a hole in...
Yeah. It's getting chilly in here. Maybe I should have brought a pair of jeans.
Oh, is it?
I'm a little chilly, yeah. I believe that Starbucks is open next door, too.
Uh-oh. Let's see how fast can you run, or do the mobile order so that you can go just pick it up and not have to wait in line.
That's what I'm about to. I guess I have to download the mobile app.
Do you want me to order it for you?
I'm gonna try this, but hold that thought.
Okay.
I have a gift card too. That's part of the reason.
Oh well, yeah. Use that. Oh, what am I doing?
I got a feeling there's going to be more to this Starbucks app than. I don't think it's just going to be as easy as I can put in an order, but we'll see.
Okay, if not, just text me. Well, that way you got more time today to get it all figured out.
All right, so I can sign in, but I think I got to create a join now.
In today's digitally driven world, the internet has become more than just a convenience or a luxury. Among other things, it keeps workers connected with their jobs and students connected with their instructors and lessons. That's why the U.S. government created the Affordable Connectivity Program, also known as the ACP. This program provides low-income families with discounts of up to $30 a month to help pay for their internet service. And here at FTC, we're proud to participate in the program. FTC urges all eligible households to take advantage of this helpful program. To learn more about the ACP and to see if you qualify, visit acpbenefit.org.
Yeah, Dawn's not happy about that one, is she? Woo.
Was she not happy on Twitter? I didn't see.
A little bit. At least in showing in my trending, if Leah Boston was trending. All right, heading back in. I don't either, Hope. You guys are up.
803-404-6100. You can be a part of the program. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen. I am live from SEC Media Days here in Atlanta, the College Football Hall of Fame. As again, things starting to pick up this morning. People rolling in, starting to get set up, and then we will hit full force here later today. Today's schedule, again, Greg Sankey will be up first thing this morning. He will be followed by Brian Kelly here in the main. It's not a ballroom anymore. Patrick, what do you want to call this thing? If you've never been to the College Football Hall of Fame, the field that they have, the turf field and everything, what would you?
I would just call it the field, because that's
where
you can run around and do combine drills and kick field goals if you come in a normal day.
Yeah, it's pretty cool down there, what they've got, how they've got it set up. If you've ever been to the College Football Hall of Fame, if you come over to here to Atlanta, it's a pretty cool little setup. A lot of memorabilia around here. Again, we were looking up on the wall right here in front of me. 25 is the number of players on a team in the first game. 1869 is what I'm learning here. And you can kind of, when you come up here, there's a rotunda as well back over to my left that's got some really cool stuff in it. I'll try, and I'm not sure what the rule is on pictures and all that good stuff there that they have up here. But again, it's a really interesting place. It's a great place for the SEC. And Patrick, you were kind of bringing it up earlier. Not that I disagree with you. I think going to Dallas once for the SEC Media Day will be cool. I think that, you do it once to go over and kind of make a presence. But I do think that really what they've got set up here for years, it was at the Winfrey Hotel in Birmingham. This is really where everything should kind of be, is the central location. Atlanta is kind of the SEC's town, and to have it here to start, I do think you could do some things to make it fan friendly out in the park out behind me or outside. Maybe that's in years to come, but this is the ideal place. I don't disagree with you to have this thing to kick off the start of the college football season. And by the way, just real quick to answer your question you'd asked earlier, the Big Ten Media Day will be next week, July 24th and July 25th is when they will be having that. So there's your Big Ten Media Day. The SEC, when you hear it's only 2 days from the Big Ten and you see the SEC doing 4 days, even though the same number of teams, what is your takeaway from that?
It just means more. That's all it can mean. It just means more. Does the Big Ten do it in Indianapolis? I just assume everything happens in Indianapolis. I'm looking it up right now.
It's at Lucas Oil Stadium. Yeah, it's at Lucas Oil Stadium there, which is home of the Colts. So I was actually looking to see, now that you say it just means more, you've got me like looking very quickly to see if there's any signage of the "it just means more" tag around here. Now I'm trying to. They give you a what do you call it? The little drives that you plug into your computer, hard drive, like not a hard drive, but you know what I'm talking about. The little
external drive.
External drive. Thank you. Yeah, it's got, so like on it, it's got every. I've pulled it up. I've got it here on my computer. This is what they do now. It's got every media guide for every team: Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky. And it's also got the SEC media guide information. It's got the regular SEC media guide for the season. So instead of collecting 39 different, media guides when you go in there, or all the different media guides, all 14 plus the SEC ones, plus whatever else is in there, you've got it all on one external hard drive. But I was now looking, Patrick, as you say that, now you've got me kind of, I don't know if I've seen the "it means more" slogan around here so far.
It's got to pop up at some point, unless they can't go away with that. That's what makes the SEC great. It does mean more. It's not. They're not going for the big. We're not the big market conference. Our teams take place in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Starkville, Mississippi. We're not in Washington D.C. and New York City and Chicago and Los Angeles. No, that's not what we do here.
There you go. Yeah, we
Columbia is a state capital though, so
we don't. Good point.
Kind of an exception.
Good point. So again, the schedule for today, if you're kind of hanging out or you're around your office and you got a TV in your office, the schedule for today, again, Greg Sankey will get going at about 11:45 this morning, and then Brian Kelly will follow him here in the main ballroom. BJ Ojulari, Patrick, I guess, is the biggest name he's got coming with him. I don't know how. I just real quick to give you the names. I don't really recognize any of these other names from Missouri or Mississippi. Nick Brocker, Cedric Johnson, Jonathan Mingo is your Mississippi players for today. Jack Beck, Mike Jones, the former linebacker for Clemson, and BJ Ojulari for LSU. I don't know how excited people get to hear players throughout the week. Tomorrow, you will get to hear from Will Anderson and Bryce Young. I guess maybe people want to hear from those two from Alabama. Again, South Carolina's got Jovan Gwynn, DeCarrion Joyner, and Zach Pickens. KJ Jefferson maybe for Arkansas, or Stetson Bennett for Georgia. Bumper pool, yes. I'm looking to see if there's any other name. Will Levis, is there anybody? Am I reading any names? Tank Bigsby, Hendon Hooker, any of these names that you're like, yeah, I'd kind of like to hear from that player?
No, because we're not going to hear from them anyway. I mean, they're not really televised. They'll just do quick cuts of things. Like, the only thing I'm going to see from any of these players is on Twitter. The SEC Network is going to play the coaches, and they're going to play the panels, and then the coaches, after they do their 30 minutes, are going to go sit on the table for the SEC Network, and they're going to talk to whoever's there, Peter Burns and Greg McElroy and whoever else is hosting that coverage. Gene Chiswick, I assume, will be there. So they're going to talk to all those people, and that's all that's really going to play. And then we'll play little blurbs of a player if a player says something interesting. So we're barely going to hear from the players anyway.
Yeah, now you say that
we'll hear from the South Carolina players, like as from Columbia, because we'll play clips of them. But yeah, that's
I would think that Bryce Young and Will Anderson you'll be able to see on SEC Network. They'll do something to set them up. So we'll continue talking about that. Get back into the Open Championship. Get you a little bit of audio from Cam Smith yesterday following his victory. And coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to give you a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Columbia Fireflies for this coming Friday. We'll have a family 4-pack for the Columbia Fireflies this coming Friday that we will give away around 8 a.m. this morning. So if you want a chance to win some Firefly tickets, we'll do that as well. Plenty to get to this morning. You're listening to Patrick Perrette. You're listening to Jen Jensen and Bill Gunner. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game. 107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
Looks like still having an issue there. I-26 eastbound, the on-ramp at Lake Murray Boulevard. So that's mile marker 102. I-26 eastbound, the on-ramp has a little bit of a tie-up there. In our forecast, we are looking for heat, humid conditions for sure. High today of 93, but the heat index hits 99. Might see some afternoon or evening thunderstorms. And then pretty much the same for tomorrow and Wednesday. 94 for the high tomorrow, heat index of 102. 95 on Wednesday, 103, and more chances for afternoon and evening storms. Right now, 75, 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Life matters. Do you know who was the first and hopefully only U.S. president to be interviewed naked? Several possibilities come to mind, but unless you pick John Quincy Adams, you'd be wrong. Adams was the 6th president of the United States and the first son of a U.S. president to become president himself. As was his custom, John Quincy would skinny dip occasionally in the Potomac River when his schedule allowed. A Washington reporter, Anne Royale, sat on his clothes until the president granted her an interview. Taking note of John Quincy Adams' devout Christianity, one observer noted, "It just goes to show that even a king needs to be reminded that we brought nothing into this world, and indeed we shall take nothing out when we go. The things that matter are not our titles, but our testimony. When everything else is taken away, what testimony will you leave behind?" This is Pastor Stephen Chitty, Remember, life matters, and so do you. Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Just as you feel the effects of the summertime heat, your house feels it too. Lack of rain, high humidity, and random storms wreak havoc on your home's foundation, causing wall cracks, sticking windows and doors, mold, and musty smells. Mount Valley Foundation Services knows this and is ready to help. They'll protect and repair your home with permanent foundation, basement, and crawl space solutions. Schedule your free, no-obligation appointment today. Visit fixmyfoundation.com. That's fixmyfoundation.com.
Mount Valley Foundation Services, rock solid foundation.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the
We'll see if it works. I've ordered a Starbucks coffee or used the app.
foundation. 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Mid-State has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Mid-State twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, midstateroofing.com.
Hey, Gamecock fans, Scott here, making sure you're current on all the newly arriving Gamecock gear. Shop online at GamecockTraditions.com, and we'll ship it to you, or you can pick it up at the store with our site-to-store feature. At GamecockTraditions.com, sign up for our emails where we notify you of new arrivals and restock alerts. Are you social? So are we on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Send us questions or give us suggestions. We love hearing from you. And of course, we also love seeing each of you at 5134 Sunset Boulevard or at our new location at Sand Hills by the Fountain. Gamecock Traditions, your Gamecock.
Jim, did you hear me? I got the order. We'll see how this went. I placed my Starbucks order, so we'll.
More comfortable, attractive, weather-tight, and energy efficient for over 35 years. How? By distributing products from the best window and door manufacturers in the country. These products give you the best looks, the best quality, and the best value, all based on your specific needs. And everything is professionally installed by the.
So as soon as this segment ends, I'm going to sprint across the street.
Atlantic Windows and Doors. See them online at awdsc.com.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 1075 The Game.
7:49 on a Monday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen, as we carry you through here the opening hours of SEC Media Days, and things again will really pick up here in the next hour or so, and then really get going around 11:30 this morning with the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. Yesterday, though, things were hot and heavy over at St. Andrews. Cameron Smith rallies, 4 down, shoots, just absolutely remarkable. Just fun to watch, Patrick. I think both of us agreed the way he played was a lot of fun to watch. And when you're out there making birdies like he did and just enjoying your round, it's probably fairly – I've never had a round like that. I can't say that I mean – again, 5 birdies in a row, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, makes a terrific par putt on 17, and then birdies 18 to really put it away. A 30 on the back 9, a 64. Becomes the first golfer ever in the Open Championship to have 2 rounds of 64 or lower. And, Jen, let's play a little bit of audio. Here is what Cameron Smith had to say yesterday following his victory at St. Andrews.
Feel like I can breathe. This last 4 or 5 holes there aren't easy around here, especially with that wind off the left, and just stuck to what I was doing, and just really proud of how I kind of knuckled down today, and managed to get it done. I sometimes think that being behind on certain golf courses and in certain situations is maybe a good thing. I think it's very easy to get defensive out there and keep hitting it to 60, 70 feet, and you can make pars all day, but you're not going to make birdies. And I think it was a good thing that I was definitely behind. I think my mindset would have been a touch different coming in, especially on that back nine if I was ahead. I think my shot into my second shot into 13 was really when I thought that we can win this thing. I think I had 3 birdies in a row before that, and then to hit that shot in there, well, the 2 shots, the drive and the second shot, were 2 of the best all week. And for that to go in, I think was was it for me.
Patrick, it's interesting to hear him say that about playing from behind. It wasn't that Cam Smith played bad on Saturday. Again, he was very good the entire time, but he shot 73 on Saturday. Again, there's some mistakes here and there. One of them, his feet were in the bunker, and he was trying to hit that sideways shot, or I don't know how you'd want to frame it on Saturday. But it sounded like he was a guy that just, hey, I'm behind, no pressure, go out and play my game. And if Rory falls apart, Rory falls apart. But if I go out and just play my game, things will work out great. Is that how you take that?
Yeah. I don't know golf enough to know what would be the passive. I guess that's kind of what he's saying. He'd be a little more passive and protective and not attacking pins, I guess. But he still could have done that later in the round. Like, the pressure could have gotten to him. Yeah, I know these guys know what the players before and after them are doing. Like, Cam Smith is aware of what Rory's doing, and Rory's aware of what Cam Smith is doing. They know that they're worth a shot of each other, and Cam Smith's playing with Cam Young anyway. So the pressure was still on when you're coming down the last couple holes in a major, the 150th British Open at the most famous golf course outside of Augusta in the world, and like everything, the pressure should have built, but he was just unfazed. And like the last putt he hit, he knocked in. I wasn't terribly long, but it wasn't a gimme either, and he was just super consistent on those putts that were makeable, and basically made all of his makeable putts all day long. The pressure should have still been applied. It's not. I don't think that coming from behind, knowing the gravity of that situation, knowing who you're playing against, where you are, I think no matter what, the pressure's still going to be there. So I think he's just kind of unflappable in general.
It'll be interesting. A young golfer. He has been very impressive this year. I don't want to say that the PGA Tour is done, because you've still got the FedEx playoffs, but I mean, let's be honest, you've really got to be into golf right now to kind of continue watching it. College football and the NFL now just a few weeks away from really getting going, and with no more majors on the season. It will be interesting. Patrick, the Live Golf Tour stuff kind of died down at the end. Bryson DeChambeau and Dustin Johnson putting forth great efforts for the old Live Golf Tour. Johnson at 13 under, shoots a 69 yesterday. DeChambeau finishes 67, 66 over the weekend to finish 12 under. But it will be interesting now as we kind of move forward. You mentioned on Friday looking to see if another big name or two joins the Live Golf Tour here now that we're done with all the majors this year.
Yeah, it was. There were rumors that it was going to be someone big. So, I mean, we'll see what happens this week. I don't know when that will be announced. I think Henrik Stenson, I just Googled Live Tour and I see Henrik Stenson moves closer to being a Live Tour guy, and they're going to kick him off of his Ryder Cup captaincy, which would be interesting. But we're waiting for a huge name. I mean, Henrik Stenson is a notable name.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's plenty out there. There's definitely plenty out there that could
Tommy
definitely
Fleetwood might join. Apparently, this is just a Daily Mail article that says that Tommy Fleetwood might be next. There's rumors about Hideki Matsuyama, so there could be some big ones coming.
Yeah, and so again, to your point, it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens over the next few weeks. But the PGA Tour will kind of, and Live Golf for that matter, at least for us now, will kind of go to the back burner as we get ready for the start of college football season. Midway through the month of July, the 18th day of July, just 10 days from now, we'll be out at the Birdies with Beamer golf tournament, and that'll be a lot of fun. But first, we've got SEC Media Days taking place, and it gets going here in just about 3 hours with Greg Sankey taking to the podium. We'll talk more about that. Conference realignment, scheduling, Patrick, is something that I really hope we learn. Scheduling. What does Greg Sankey kind of envision with scheduling, and do we have an official announcement on that maybe later today? We'll get into a little bit of what we hope we hear from Greg Sankey in hour number 3. I'm about to run across the street and find a coffee. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Okay, we'll be back. It's the early game, 107.5 The Game.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5
There it goes.
The Game. WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
Hey, it's Terry Ford from 107.5 The Game with our buddy Adam Vance from Sound and Images. Okay, Adam, we all know Sound and Images as an events company, but you're more than that, aren't you?
We are a commercial audiovisual installation company. And what does that mean? That means that we can come into your place of business. We can help you assess what you have, what you need, where you want to go. We're really big on video conferencing systems. BYOD, as they say, bring your own device, connect wirelessly, connect with ease.
If you want to reach out to Adam Vance, just go to soundandimages.net or call 803-791-3925.
And now a message from Discover about real rewards. If you're a loyal credit card customer, you should be rewarded for your loyalty, preferably with something that you actually want and something that you can actually use, something like Cashback Match. Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically, dollar for dollar, because when it comes to rewards, you can't go wrong with cash back. Finally, rewards that make sense. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations do apply. It gets harder to lose weight as we get older. And if you're trying to get fit this summer, get M-Drive Boost and Burn. Burn fat, boost energy, and it supports healthy testosterone. M-Drive Boost and Burn, clinically tested ingredients support weight reduction, testosterone, and lean muscle. Try M-Drive's exclusive deal for my listeners. Get your first 2 weeks of M-Drive Boost and Burn for just $5. Sign up at mdrivedan.com. Don't let age beat you. First 2 weeks, $5. mdrivedan.com.
Did you know summer is the best time to get your carpets and air ducts cleaned? During the hot, humid summer months, bacteria and allergens are at an all-time high in your home. This summer, trust no one other than the cleaning experts at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. With over 1,500 Google reviews, they are the most recommended cleaning company in the Midlands. And right now, they are having their huge summer sale. 15% off all cleaning services. Carpet, rugs, upholstery, tile, and air ducts, all 15% off. Use promo code SUMMERSALE at ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez is the right way to clean.
She's kind of a big deal. Some people like to say it's only because of how she looks. She sticks her tongue out a lot. But there's just something about her that makes people do crazy things, like get tattoos of her face or wait in line for hours just to say hi. Lil Bub is a 2-year-old cat, an Instagram celebrity with a following bigger than some 90s television stars. And it all started because she was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Lil Bub, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
How long do you think it'll take Bill?
You're expecting a teenager.
Mid
Today we're talking
this segment, I'm guessing.
And this literally
That's
every
my
time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the.
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know
Chuck,
all
what are you
to be
talking about? You can watch them for free on YouTube. That's just, what are you even talking about with the stream? I watched both tournaments on YouTube. I didn't watch much of them, but I watched both of them on YouTube for free.
2022 SEC Media Days in Atlanta.
The SEC is still the king. They have been the king, and they will continue to be the king for the foreseeable future.
SEC.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire. On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
And wrapping up our first show of SEC Media Days, hour number 3 kicking off here. Patrick Brett, Jen Jensen, and Bill Gunter live from Atlanta He's run out to get a coffee. He will be with us soon. I put the over-under at 10 minutes. If we'll get him on this segment, that's the bet.
And
but
I'm also wondering if he's going to come back and be panting.
Yeah, I don't know how far he's running. It is kind of I guess he Uber Eats the Starbucks, and that can be a pain depending on how the driver does if they know where they are. And also, he's in the middle of a city. There's probably a lot of chaos going around there. He probably doesn't know where to go. College Football Hall of Fame has multiple entrances. This could be a while.
Yeah.
We could be waiting a couple minutes for Bill Gunter
I
here.
almost kind of wish we had a GoPro on him, to
Yeah.
just kind of watch the experience and see how much darting around there is. And
I was
all
also
that.
looking forward to him being in the hotel room and Jay Phillips snoring behind him during the show. That would have actually been far more entertaining. But we didn't get that. They did set him up. He's got a good set. If anyone's ever been to the College Football Hall of Fame, he's in one of the upstairs exhibits that overlooks the field. It appears that the College Football Hall of Fame is just closed this week. I mean, fans can come, but you can't actually walk around the exhibits because you'll be walking through radio shows. So interesting setup, but he's got a great vantage point for the stage, the main room when everything kicks off today. And I'll get you the list just because it is the first day, kind of get you ready for what to expect. Greg Sankey will speak today at 10:30. The coaches that will go today, or the teams that will go today, it's LSU, Ole Miss, and Missouri. So, of course, Brian Kelly at about 12:35, Lane Kiffin at 2:30, Missouri at about 4 o'clock with Coach Eli Drinkwitz. The notable players speaking today, not too many. BJ Ojulari, if you're a fan of LSU or South Carolina, because BJ Ojulari as a true freshman had, I think, 3 sacks against South Carolina a couple years ago. No one super notable from Ole Miss. You're not going to have Jackson Dart or Michael Trigg or any of their star names, but wide receiver Jonathan Mingo will be there, as well as a offensive lineman and a defensive end, Cedric Johnson and Nick Brocker. I have no idea who any of the people at Missouri are. Wide receiver Barrett Bannister, defensive back Martez Manuel, and defensive lineman Isaiah McGuire. So interesting start to the day. I assume everyone's probably going to head out at about 4 o'clock once Missouri gets up there, because generally that's how it works, is people just don't necessarily care. Tomorrow will be the big day because it's Alabama Day, and then for us locally, it's South Carolina Day. So Nick Saban will kick off the festivities at 9 a.m., and then Shane Beamer will be up at about 2:30. And, of course, Nick Saban bringing arguably the 2 best players in the country, and Bryce Young and Will Anderson, with safety Jordan Battle, who will be a first-round safety for sure from them. And Shane Beamer is bringing, of course, Javon Gwynn, Zach Pickens, and Dakarrion Joyner. And Bill Gunter is back from the coffee run. Good timing.
Yeah, I've never used on the live stream. We were talking about it. I've never used the Starbucks app, but I have.
And you survived.
I did. Well? It went well. There was I was a little concerned for a second because as we were talking about things are picking up over here. So there was I guess the low man on the totem pole for the production crew for ESPN downstairs, down the ESPN down below me. So they had he was over there ordering coffees for most of the people downstairs. So when I walked up, thankfully they were in the middle of preparing mine, but I was a little worried that it may take a little while for me to get back, but thankfully it didn't.
So had you pre-ordered it so you could just walk in and get it?
Did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't far to walk.
Learning? No, it's just right across the street, not far, just right down the stairs and just out and across the street. And
nice.
Went over and got it. Saw Peter Burns and Greg McElroy down there as they're getting set for their SEC this morning show on the SEC network. So yeah, we are officially off and running here at SEC Media Days. And
this is actually true though from Travis. You should have had Jay or Heath bring you a coffee.
I don't know where those 2 clowns are at right now. I have done, I don't want to brag, but I've done all the work. I've driven us here. I have gotten the equipment down here at 5:30 this morning. I set everything up by myself. We are good to go. The table skirt is on. I've yet to see Jay or Heath, but here we sit at 8:05 a.m. on a beautiful Monday morning. It's exciting to be over here just to start really talking college football. And those 2 goobers are probably still passed out and enjoying a late morning of sleep here.
I bet Heath's already been out for a run, or he's maybe in the fitness center at the hotel. Jay probably the same.
Yeah.
He's probably doing yoga this morning.
You
You should sneak up into the room and look.
Well, the room is a little distance from here. It's we're in a very nice hotel, the Omni. It's actually a lot of fun. Great little view, and it's in the the CNN? I can't remember what it was. The little CNN area.
Yeah, it's in the CNN tower.
CNN tower, yeah. So look, great place, a lot of fun, and again, will be very entertaining over the next few days. But Patrick, I got to admit, it'll start today. Somebody asked earlier, I think on the text line about Nick Saban, or maybe they asked on the live stream about Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. I don't expect that to be a storyline. I'm pretty sure they probably already got. There's Jay Phillips. Speaking of, how about that? Jay Phillips has gotten up and come and joined us this morning.
Wow.
We were just talking about you and about how we figured Jen thought you were doing yoga, and I was bragging about how I've done everything myself. I drove us here. I got up this morning. I don't think I woke you up getting out of the hotel room.
No, you didn't, which is interesting. But no, all good. And Jen, I'm clean. I'm dressed.
Love that.
My socks are clean. Everything else I'm wearing is clean, as far as you know. So
yeah.
I have a cup of coffee, which is hotel coffee that is not good.
Well, we just did a bit where I learned how to use the Starbucks app. Just ordered from across the street and went and picked it up, and that's how we got started.
That's a little too technical for me. Maybe by Thursday.
Travis weighed in on our live stream and said that I should have woke Jay or Heath up and made you bring us coffee. But no, we're good to go. We've got Jay Phillips down here now, and
you've even put the table skirt on, man.
Anthony on the live stream says I didn't want to brag, but I continue to brag. No, I'm good. What do you think of the setup here? I've live streamed a little bit this morning.
I wish y'all have you so they've seen this?
Yeah, the live stream, and I put some pictures out on social media. This is the best. You've covered these events longer than I have, and this is by far the best setup in the 5 times I've done this that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I mean you were here for the other Atlanta one, obviously,
We were in the
and
very back
I mean
corner
they
of the room.
put us. It was a nice ballroom, but it was about 500 yards away and tucked around a corner down a hall, and this is the complete. In fact, we kind of all said, there's this really long like breezeway at the College Hall of Fame that's just sitting there doing nothing. And I'm glad that enough people like us said that to somebody in Birmingham, at the offices who did this, because this is fantastic. I mean, I look forward to having more people be able to see exactly what kind of view we have. And when you watch it on television or you see any of these highlights of the coaches and the commissioner speaking in what we'll call the big room, which, wherever we're going to have media days, there's a big room. We're looking over it. We're like in the second deck, like the luxury suite almost. So that's nice.
We've talked
despite
about it.
The hotel coffee.
Yeah, we'll get you over that. Patrick and I have talked about it this morning. We're about to get into it. Obviously, Greg Sankey, the storyline today, and Patrick and I think are both in agreement. I think Patrick said earlier, Patrick, don't let me put words in your mouth, but the 3-6 model is kind of what we're hoping to hear something more about today from Greg Sankey as he addresses the media. I think the scheduling is the one thing, Patrick, that we hear about today in terms of actual news. I just can't imagine Greg Sankey throwing a bombshell on conference realignment.
But, are you saying we'll just hear his thoughts on it, or do you think we'll actually full on get the announcement? This is what's going to happen. It's going to be the 3-6, because that's what it has to be, though.
I don't know. I would like, I'll tell you this, Patrick. I'm an optimistic guy by nature. I am not optimistic in hearing any kind of finality about scheduling this week, if only because of the other factors that the SEC can't control that are still out there. I think. And I've said before on my show many times, and to people I speak with away from the air, I don't advocate for stronger scheduling or more conference games if it doesn't come with an expanded college football playoff. I think it has to. And you and Heath and I were talking about this again last night, Bill. We got to wrap our minds around as fans. Forget about what we do for a living or whatever everybody else here does. These coaches, whomever. You got to let go of the old. Well, you can't have a 3-loss national champion. Well, you know what? If we do what we're talking about, because you're going to play tougher games. And I do want to see FCS games go away, and I want to see beefed up schedules. I'd be fine with 10 conference games.
Yeah.
I know that half this league's coaches, maybe more than half, would not. And I understand that. And I understand some trepidation from fans. Oh, that's too hard for us. Well, I personally don't like that attitude. It's like, well, you got to go get better. And I know that's easier said than done. But anyway, Patrick, I think we will hear more about it. I do. I don't think we get finality, but I wonder how much we hear about those other external factors, realignment, growth, and how they could play into what the SEC might do. But I'll say this, Patrick, the 1-7, and I'll probably say this a bunch to all, throughout the week and beyond, the 1-7 is not going to work.
No.
1-7 is not going to work. If you want 8 games and do 3 + 5 or something like that. But if you're stuck on 8, 1 + 7 will not work.
803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning. One of the things that, Patrick, we didn't mention is that college football playoff, because, yes, I would imagine Greg Sankey will in some way, shape, or form address that today. Again, I don't know what we get that's definite from Sankey. We'd all be shocked. We'd all love for conference realignment to be something that he brings up during his or that he says, oh, yeah, good news, guys. North Carolina, Virginia, they're on the way in.
Right.
Like that would would
I think
start
the
week
only
off
thing that's relatively close to potentially being his mic drop moment, and it got me kind of excited last week when Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, new Big 12 commissioner, suggested that he would be open to letting Texas and Oklahoma buy out of their contract, would be ending it and saying, oh, by the way, it's a 3-6 model, and Texas and Oklahoma are coming next year. Confetti pops everywhere. He slams the mic down, and then Steve Sarkisian and Brent Venables come out. Brent Venables got a fire hose in his mouth when he runs out on stage. Yeah, that's what we
just
need.
a band. That's true. A band comes marching up through the middle.
Or the Sooner Schooner, right? Comes rolling in, then Bevo comes rolling in behind that, chasing it. That could be. We might get more clarity on that, but I don't think we get the clarity that a lot of us want. I'd love it too. I just don't think we get it this week.
It will be. Sankey's the guy who keeps things close to his vest. And
how do they dance around it though? There's your better question, Patrick. How close do we get to the line? How do they redraw the line? How curvy is the line? That kind of thing.
We'll get to all of that this hour. Again, we got plenty to do today. Jay will be on from 12 to 3. No guests today? I forget.
No, Tony Barnhart's coming on today. Laura Rutledge from ESPN and the SEC Network is coming on today. And you never know what you're going to get.
We got it's things are picking up. People are filing in. You can catch us on our live stream. Go to youtube.com, search 1075 The Game. And again, if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100 is how you can do it. We'll keep up with Jay Phillips. Patrick's got some opinions, and we'll get a little more audio here as well as we roll through. Up and Adam here in Atlanta. I've got the coffee.
Where do I get good coffee?
Across the street, buddy.
All right.
Starbucks.
Bill didn't offer to buy, did he? Nope.
Well, no, but I was surprised at the hotel coffee quality.
The in-room coffee.
It's
not. You didn't even stop at that little shop, did you?
It's not.
I got over here safely this morning. I was pleased.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So we've done it. I've done good. We are set up and we're ready to roll. Yeah, I know. I figured out how to use a Starbucks app. It is a big morning for a 40-year-old. So yeah, you're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Good news for you, your AAA heating and air weather forecast, because my app says Atlanta, Georgia. I'm giving you the Atlanta, Georgia app. It'll be 90 today here in Atlanta. Good news for me. It's cold and air conditioned in the College Football Hall of Fame. And you heard me say that key word, air conditioned. This time of year, especially in Columbia, South Carolina, your air conditioner working, it's pretty important. And it's going to be even more important in August and September when we get into those triple-digit days. So don't wait any longer. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Get in touch with Roy and Dana Finley and get a technician out to your house for a maintenance package. They can service your heating and air unit and make sure everything is working properly so you don't come home after a long day of work only to find out the air conditioner is gone out. That's pretty miserable. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. That's how you can get in touch with AAA Heating and Air. And if you're in the market for a brand new heating and air unit, AAA Heating and Air has the best deal in the Midlands. They offer you a $1,500 rebate to buy back your old unit. Then guaranteed financing. So even if you've had problems with credit and you're thinking this is a lot of money to pay, how are you going to make it work? AAA Heating and Air guarantees financing, and then the absolute best part is a 15-year parts and labor warranty to make sure that heating and air unit continues working properly. So don't wait any longer. Don't allow that heating and air unit to potentially run out on you. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
We do have a report of an accident, Longs Pond Road at Two Notch Road. That's Longs Pond Road at Two Notch. I-20 westbound, mile marker 44. We do have a report of an accident there. And I-77 northbound at Two Notch Road, looking to be an accident, looking like there's a tie-up there. And I'm seeing I-26 and Bush River Road. There may still be a little bit of a slowdown there, trying to get locations on that. Weather-wise, though, we're looking for hot and humid conditions for the next couple of days. 93 for the high today, 94, 95 in the subsequent days, and heat indexes of at least 100, if not a little bit more, and those chances for afternoon and evening storms. Right now, though, sunny, 75.
It's loud in here. It's getting loud in here, so obviously it'll be difficult to communicate on the live stream. Moving kind of forward.
David had called a little bit ago and said, he wondered if you go to 10 teams and all play in a division, that would be like 9 games. So then if you got those other 3 games so then you're up to 12, do you expand the season so you can get in like a Clemson game, or do they expand the season, or do they knock out like those rivalry games?
I don't think you need to expand the season. We'll talk about that though.
Yeah.
No, I think we're good. I've got everything right down here. I've got all the mics, so I've got everything kind of tucked right here. There's no password for the SEC for the Wi-Fi. It's just SEC Media. You just log in. Everything's running. I've got everything plugged in. I mean, it wasn't hard, although.
And the hard, you got the hard Ethernet cable.
Yeah, the hard Ethernet. Yeah, because I don't even have if we need the 2 little the sticks are in the box. The only problem was when I got here at 5:30, the doors were locked. I was like, all right. I mean, literally, I called Jen. I was like, make sure Patrick is ready to go, because I think I'm coming back to the room. And about that time, another guy came walking up, and he called. He started getting on the phone, and I got it. Oh, he's from 680 fan. So they were the 680 fan guys had already come in the loading garage or whatever. So I'm just out front. They said somebody would be here in the morning, but they said somebody would be here this morning. And in all honesty, all the workers, all the technicians, guys, they were here. I mean, it was
the Hall of Fame clock. They said 5 o'clock.
Yeah, everything was, but it was no problem. Came up, plugged it in, done. Just because I was kind of freaking out. I mean, I was set up until I joked. I was like, I could have slept 20 more minutes. Because of that, I literally just during the last break ran and got coffee. I used Starbucks to order and walked across the street.
Are they gonna let us? This can stay set up.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, you can't guarantee the security.
Oh, I'm sure they would. But getting in here, like, you better have your. I don't know if they're allowing fans downstairs.
Only, just like maybe last time, only in that hallway.
I don't think they're. I mean, it's pretty. You better have your credential to get around. So I'm gonna do this. They got that brunch at the Omni. I'm gonna go to get some to eat.
What time is that? 10.
10.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that I want to go to that Chick-fil-A and get the biscuit. Can I wait an hour and a half? I don't know. I'm gonna get hungry. All right. Well, I'm gonna go round a few things up. I'll be back.
Okay. Here, hand me that. Here, just hand me that.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
If you're watching on our live stream, you can go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game, click join, and be a part of the program this morning. You can see things are picking up here in the College Football Hall of Fame. People are rolling in, more radio stations getting set up here on Radio Row as people are now starting to filter in and mingle about, and we will have coverage for you throughout the day. Pearson Fowler back in studio, but at noon to 3, Jay Phillips will be here, and you heard him. He'll have Tony Barnhart today and Laura Rutledge, and then Heath Klein. I don't have Heath's schedule for his guest today. Those two will have the majority of the schedules. We'll do a lot of the audio from the day previous, the next few days on our show, because as you would figure, as the week goes on, people aren't exactly thrilled to hop up at 6, 7, or 8 a.m. and come join us for interviews unless they're basically being forced to. And well, Patrick, I'm only about 5'6" and $165. I'm not exactly a forceful come do an interview with me kind of guy.
Well, it's all about how you carry yourself.
Well, I've been beaten down over the last 5 years by Jen, who continuously slaps me in the back of the head when I ask for anything. So yeah, it is one of those. It is one of those things where you try and adjust, but my confidence has been shaken, despite the fact that I have completely carried this crew so far during this trip, from driving them over to getting everything set up this morning here at the College Football Hall of Fame. But it should be a lot of fun. And to go back to that point, Jen, you were kind of on the live stream, you were asking, and Patrick, we had not talked about the college football playoff, but that is another element to Greg Sankey's discussion today that will be kind of interesting, is how much he gets into his plans or what he wanted, which was an expanded college football playoff.
And what does he want now? That's like, I think that we'll get no info on what's actually sort of in the works, but I think we'll get a better idea of what he wants. Like maybe he'll insinuate, I'm not for 6. I'm no longer for 6 automatic bids or something like that. I think 12 is the number. I don't like anything really more or less than 12. I don't love 8. I like 12 with a couple buys, and the home games is a really cool idea too. So I hope that that's what we're trending towards, but I don't know what is advantageous to the power players now in the SEC and the Big Ten. I think they might just say, 3 or 4. We'll see how the Pac-12 and Big 12 shakes out. I think they'll throw them a bone and give them automatic qualifiers, but outside of that, I just don't know where their head's at. I don't see Greg Sankey wanting to give a Group of 5 team an automatic bid.
No, those days are over. Everything. This is my opinion. Is that opportunity is gone. I see him. I really continue to believe that we're going to see 4 conferences, and that of those 4 conferences, that Greg Sankey will implement what he wanted out of college football, which is the expanded playoff. He's going to want 6, 7, maybe SEC teams in each and every year. The Big Ten will be able to eat up 3 or 4, and then they'll look to, say, the ACC or the Big 12 and say, okay, we'll let your champion in. After that, good luck trying to get another team in. That would obviously, if they go about it doing it that way, if it's a 12-team playoff, it would then leave 10 spots for the SEC and the Big Ten.
Well, it would still be a committee-based thing, right?
I think he likes that.
How can he place his hands on the scales to influence the committee?
Look, the SEC has had no problem getting 2 teams into a current 4-team playoff. The SEC's had no problems getting 2 teams in the national championship. To me, I think he's happy with how everything is being run, with the exception of the number of teams. He knows that when he puts his teams up, if it's Oklahoma or if it's Texas A&M or if it's LSU in the future, or whatever it may be, maybe Auburn makes a resurgence, maybe it's Florida making a comeback. I think he knows that when people analyze his teams in this conference, they're going to place them ahead generally of a Florida State, or if a Virginia Tech makes a run, or, again, if it's Oregon and Washington out of whatever conference they're in. I think it gets interesting that way, but
that hasn't always been true, though. I mean, it's bowl games are hard to put any stock into because of who's playing in them. But then, the head-to-head numbers between the SEC and the Big Ten aren't like ridiculously in favor of the SEC. And you do see things like Penn State beating Auburn last year. That rematch will be a big one this year. But the Big Ten, I mean, Alabama and Georgia are on top of the world. But when we get further down the pecking order, it's not super dominant.
I'm with you on the Big Ten and the SEC. That's going to be who I think is in control. But, I just don't see them necessarily doing away with the ACC and whatever comes of the Big 12 and the Pac-12. I don't foresee that happening. And so, a 12-team playoff in which the SEC or the Big Ten is getting the majority of the teams in, the ACC, and again, whatever you want to call whatever this new conference will be, the rest of the best of the rest, I don't know. But whatever you want to call them gets one. Maybe it gets a champion in, maybe a second team. Maybe Miami, who's recruiting absolutely lights out, becomes a team that is to be reckoned with in the ACC. Maybe Mario Cristobal knows what he's doing down there, and the U actually will make a comeback. So maybe there's 2 ACC teams in Miami, and if Clemson continues at their current pace, I think that's all we're kind of looking at there. But it would be surprising if it didn't go to 12. Now, Jen brought up an interesting question. We talk about the scheduling. Where does the limit come for the number of college football games played? Because Jen mentioned expansion in terms of games. I don't think you're going to get the expansion in terms of games. I don't see them going past 15 games, maybe 16 if you add another round. But the bottom line, Patrick, is I could actually see them doing away with one regular season game and cutting it to 11, keeping some kind of bowl format for the teams that qualify, but then you have the potential for 3-4 playoff games where a team could play 15 games in a season. It's hard for me to believe that we're going to expand it out to where a team could potentially play 18 college football games in a regular season. In a season,
yeah,
not in a regular season
overall.
I'm sorry.
Who has to come to the agreement to make that decision first? Like, could Greg Sankey just say SEC teams are only playing 11 games now? Who's powerful enough to say that the college football season is no longer 12 games? Is it up to every school individually? Like South Carolina, nobody's making South Carolina play 12 games. It's just kind of the standard. I don't actually know how that works.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of, I mean, look, the television, ESPN, ABC, CBS, whatever streaming platforms you want to throw in there, obviously they want content. Then you've got to come back to, well, we don't think the NCAA is going to be ruling college football anymore, so there will be some kind of commissioner of the new era of college football. That I think it's multi. I think there's a lot of people involved in that decision. But Patrick, just if I do the math real quick on it, what is it if you do a 12-team college football playoff with the first 4 teams getting byes? That would mean that hypothetically, and you kept your conference championship games, that would still mean that if a team who plays if a team gets a bye, they've probably played in their conference championship, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I don't have a piece of paper in front of me, but if you do a 12-team playoff, if you give one team a set of byes, even if that team with the bye wins the national championship, they will have played 3 games, correct? Am I right on that?
I think so. So
yeah,
games you could play is 12 plus a conference championship game. That's 13. Not get a bye, so you're in the round of 12 teams. So it'd be 2 rounds of 8 because you'd add the 4 teams with the byes back into it. So it'd be 3 rounds of college football playoffs, right? So you could play upwards of. You could play 16 games, right?
I think you're looking at 17 if you throw the conference championship game in.
Yeah, if you're a conference champion that does not get a bye, or you play in a conference championship and lose the conference championship game and then don't get a bye.
Right.
That's the most you can play. Yeah.
Yeah, I just and now here's the one part of that nobody wants to hear, but it's players union. Players union who steps in much like in the NFL, and a players union steps in and says, "Wait a minute, no, we're not playing 17 game. We're not running the risk of a 17 game season." I could see a scenario in 803-404-6100, not what we would want, but I could see a scenario in which they cut back on the number of regular season games to make way for a college football playoff. We'll continue talking about that because that is something else today, the college football playoff, that Greg Sankey, I'm sure, will address. But, Patrick, I do feel like we're heading for a day in which there's so much to discuss and yet we won't get anything out of Greg Sankey.
That's the most likely circumstance, right? Whenever someone's talking with a platform like this, the most likely circumstance we find out nothing.
Correct. That's exactly what I expect.
Always.
It'll be all a bunch of build up for a bunch of nothing. Greg Sankey will give us some kind of great quote from some kind of leader or William Shatner or something, who knows, and it'll all end up being for nothing because we'll get none of the big information. But we will dissect it and we'll read between the lines best we can. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Patrick Brett, and Jen Jensen. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
I am excited, thrilled, use whatever adjective you want to use to talk about being over at SEC Media Day, except for one thing. The bed last night was awful. The pillows were awful. The bed was awful. I didn't have coffee this morning. I'm fighting it right now, all because last night I did not get a great night of sleep. I really, really, really missed my Sleep Number bed. And I'm telling you what, if you're like me, if you've ever had a great night of sleep and then you go somewhere and you got to get up at 5 a.m. and you don't get the great night of sleep, oh, it can be absolutely miserable. And right now, I am just missing my Sleep Number bed. I will be so excited to go home on Thursday and get a great night of sleep. You can find out exactly what I mean right now with Sleep Number's weekend special. You can save 40% on the new Sleep Number 360 CSE Smart Bed Queen, now only $1,499 plus 0% interest for 36 months on all smart beds. But this deal ends today, Monday, July 18th, and it's only at a Sleep Number store. Two to choose from, one in Irma on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings, the other in Columbia, 2-Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Again, the new, don't miss the Sleep Number weekend special. Save 40% on the new Sleep Number 360 CSE Smart Bed Queen, now only $1,499 plus 0% interest for 36 months on all smart beds, subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. I'm telling you what, normally I've got that Sleep Number setting put on 45 and I get a great night of sleep. Last night I was in some kind of crappy hotel bed. Not quite as much fun. And that's why people ask why I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number. And I'm telling you, it's because every great day starts the night before. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
We have a report of an accident along Green Parkway at Longtown Road, so caution in that area. Also, Longs Pond Road at 2-Notch Road, an accident as well. And your forecast, hot and humid for the next few days. Could see some afternoon and evening thunderstorms popping up. 93 for the high today, the heat index of 99 tomorrow. 94 for the high, but again, that heat index of 102. We're going to do that for the next few days. Right now, sunny, 76 at 107.5 The Game.
Just as you feel the effects of the summertime heat, your house feels it too. Lack of rain, high humidity, and random storms wreak havoc on your home's foundation, causing wall cracks, sticking windows and doors, mold, and musty smells. Mount Valley Foundation Services knows this and is ready to help. They'll protect and repair your home with permanent foundation, basement, and crawl space solutions. Schedule your free, no-obligation appointment today. Visit fixmyfoundation.com. That's fixmyfoundation.com.
Mount Valley Foundation Services, rock solid foundation.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Mid-State has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Mid-State twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, midstateroofing.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Uneven sidewalks, pool decks, or patios? Canty can repair them for just a fraction of the cost of replacement. Call Canty Foundation Specialists today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Uneven concrete can be a dangerous tripping hazard leading to injury. Call the experts at Canty to permanently repair your sinking or cracked concrete. Call 753-1495 or visit cantycanfixit.com. Canty can fix it.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
.37 on a Monday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen getting you through up and Adam Pearson Fowler up next after us. And then Jay Phillips will start on what should be an interesting day here. Patrick, we hope it'll be interesting. But Jay, Patrick, I just don't know what information we're going to get. Kind of like Patrick says we were going to last break. Like, you want something blockbuster to come down. You want Greg Sankey to come in and go, I am the new commissioner of college football. And
that I would love. I'm going to make Patrick feel a little bit better, but this is still only speculation.
Okay.
I was just talking to our good friend David Cloninger of the Charleston Post and Courier. He's downstairs in the big room. He does believe that we're going to get some type of clarity on scheduling. Now, that's David's opinion. I just told him I don't share his optimism, but he says they got to give us something. And I said, okay, I
so Cloninger said, Patrick, do you agree that we have to get something today? There is a lot out there. Do you agree that we have to get something today?
No, I mean, Greg Sankey doesn't necessarily owe us anything, but if you want, I mean, we've got the 4-day media days. The Big Ten's got theirs next week with 2. He wants to make this a blockbuster event. You might as well just start the trend of just drop massive news every single time you kick off SEC media days. Yeah, that would be a good way of doing it. If every single year he comes here, he's got a bomb to drop on the college football world. Yeah.
All right, I'll ask both of you guys. If what is the thing you want to hear? If we could get one answer out of him today, is it realignment thoughts? Is it the inception of Oklahoma and Texas into the conference? Is it college football news? Is it scheduling? What is the one thing today? If he was going to say something, Patrick, I'll start with you. If there's one thing you want to hear today from Greg Sankey where he clarifies something, which of those 4 things, or is it something that I'm leaving out? Because, again, those are 4 big topics. There might be a 5th that I've forgotten because I just started drinking coffee. But what is the –
glad you said coffee.
What is the thing that you want to hear the most about today?
I would like to hear where expansion's going. Yeah, I would like to hear him say something along the lines of, we're done. We're not interested, or we're not interested in West Coast teams being in the Southeastern Conference. That would put to bed any Oregon and Washington rumors. I would like for him to say this is a regional conference and we have no interest in that. And I would like him to say whether or not he is interested in attacking the ACC and going to get a North Carolina or a Virginia or a Clemson or Florida State. So, no, I'm more interested in the realignment than the scheduling, probably.
Okay. I agree. And I do, Patrick, again, my opinion, I believe that if this conference continues to expand, it will do so by adding schools in contiguous states. I don't think, like some other conferences, it leaps time zones and borders. And I think that, you know, the primary targets for the Southeastern Conference, hypothetically, are in contiguous states or already in states where the SEC is. Personally, I believe if they're going to expand, you do it in new markets, which the state of South Carolina and the state of Florida and the state of Texas are not, other than the fact that you've already added the Longhorns. But because I think everything else, Bill, that you mentioned is going to be dependent upon what, here's the thing. At some point, you got to make this thing stop and then build your scheduling formats, build that rotation so that because if you go to 20 or 24, well, right, you're still not going to see everybody in a 4-year cycle the way they're trying to tell us right now. Expansion of the playoff. Look, and by the way, I'll throw you another one here. I think 12 is dead. I think when we get to 2026 and they talk about doing it again, it's going to be 16.
All right, let's stop you right there for just a second, because as you see, I found a pad.
By the way, I found much better coffee downstairs.
Excellent work. I'm finding
that you don't have to pay.
I'm finding stuff to work on, and you're finding coffee. We're
Mm-hmm.
doing great here. Mm-hmm. Jen brought this up in the last, and we were discussing this in the last segment. You talk about scheduling, but if you go to 16, all right, and I just filled out this bracket here, you're talking for a team that gets to buy 3 extra games, plus likely your conference championship game, plus the potential for a 12-game schedule. One team could play 16 games.
Right.
There's not a players' football union. There's not a college football player union yet to stop this from happening. But, Jay, if you go to 16, now you're factoring in definitely another game, another conference championship game, and still 12. I think one thing you start to look at is, do the commissioners, does Sankey, does Kevin Moore, do they shorten the regular season, which now impacts your scheduling a little bit more? Because at some point, they're going to draw a line. I'm looking at 16, and I'm looking at 16 if you get a first-round bye. You got to win all 4 rounds of the college football playoff. It's a 12 team. Now you're playing 17 games potentially.
I don't see schools being willing at this point to give up that 12th game gate, whatever it might be, even if it's an FCS game. And again, I despise those. I think what you see, I'll come back to your bigger point. There may not be a full-on union like we have in professional sports, but I do think you see a looser association begin to form. And I would also, and if I'm proactive and I'm the Greg Sankeys and commissioners and Bill Hancock and such, maybe even the ESPN and Fox folk, once you get into that playoff, kind of like you do in the pros, hey, you make it, guess what, boys? You get a little bonus, $1,000 a player, $5,000 a player. The winning team gets 10. I don't know. There's got to be something beyond the norm to further incentivize everybody wanting to get on board. That's my opinion.
Let me throw this at you, Patrick, real quick. Interesting comment yesterday. Texas San Antonio coach Jeff Traylor. I don't know if this was yesterday on Friday, but I saw it yesterday. Talked about bowl games and what Jay just said. Talked about bowl games. Said you want to get kids to stay for bowl games or big bowl games, you add an incentive, $10,000 for the winning, or for $5,000 or $3,000 for the winning team for players. Now you don't have players opting out. Patrick, would you be on board with that, paying the winning team of a bowl game?
Yeah, but that just means that ESPN is going to pass that along to the sponsor of the bowl game, right? To be responsible for paying the players, and that just means there's probably going to be less bowl games because it's going to be more expensive to sponsor them now too.
Well,
which I'm fine with.
You're starting to shorten. You're starting to consolidate the college football as it is. We'll continue covering this. The scheduling. We don't have time to finish on our show today. We'll bring it back up. But I think when you talk about an expanded playoff, and now you start getting into the opportunity for a couple teams to play 17, 18 games, it opens the door to unions, and it opens the door to players revolting and saying, wait a minute now, I'm getting some money in name, image, likeness, but it ain't the contract that they're getting to play in the NFL. We'll talk about that. Scary thought there with potential ever have a potential college football lockout, but we'll talk more about that. We'll come back and wrap up day 1 here at SEC Media Days in Atlanta. You're listening to Patrick Pratt, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, and a revived, good-looking, happy Jay Phillips because he found good coffee. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Getting out, enjoying the summer, that's what is the most fun because the weather's warm and you can go and jump into a pool unless your pool's dirty, and then you're just staring at the pool. And that, quite frankly, is no fun. If you got a dirty pool, if you've had some issues of late, it's time to call Corley Pool Solutions. With over 20 years of experience in the pool maintaining business, Tracy Corley knows exactly how to keep that pool maintained and ready for you to go home this afternoon and use it, because that's why you have a pool, to actually use it, to jump in, splash around, play with the kids, play some volleyball in the pool. But if it's dirty, that is just an eyesore. The reason to use Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions, there's many. Let me tell you about them. One, weekly cleaning, and not just from some team that the company sends out. It's a weekly cleaning from the owner himself, making sure the job is done correctly each and every time, and that when you come home, you are 100% satisfied with the cleanliness of your pool. That's number one. Two, no contracts. Tracy Corley's so confident in the work that he does, he doesn't make you sign a 3, 6, 9, or 12-month contract. He believes in his business, and he knows you will believe in it as well. And finally, transparent, flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. They know exactly what they are charging you. You know what you're being charged for. You know everything. It's transparent, it's easy, and it's flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. Call Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109. Again, that's 803-445-8109. 8109. That's Corley Pool Solutions. Give them a call today. Get them out to your house. 803-445-8109.
1075 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
So we're showing an accident, I-77 southbound in mile marker 3, so be careful approaching that area. Also seeing slowdown I-77 southbound at
Tuesday. Tuesday is the answer to your question. Tuesday.
All right, so I've moved off the couch for today. I set up a desk finally, but I've been sitting on this stool all day. It's very uncomfortable.
We do have very comfortable chairs here.
This was my locker stool.
Oh.
Not comfortable at all. Nope, I'm hunched over. I'm hunched over all morning. I need a proper desk chair. Bill, did you see this thing about the Oregon Sprinter last night? Did you see the thing about the Oregon?
About the what?
The Oregon Sprinter last night?
No, I didn't see that.
This is a wild story. If Bill can't hear me, I'll tell it to the live stream. But there were some world championships last night, and this guy, Devin Allen, who's going to be a wide receiver for the Eagles, is the best sprinter, and it was the hurdles event. Apparently there's a rule in sprinting where even if you go after the gun, if you go within 0.01 or 0.1 seconds of the gun firing, they consider that a false start, even though you went after the gun. And he went 0.0999, basically 9,000th of a second after the gun, which was one 1,000th too fast. So they considered it a false start, even though he went after the gun. And just look up Devin Allen. It's a really bizarre story and really kind of weird. Basically got punished for being too good at sprinting. Kicked out of the gold medal race.
Now talk. Can you hear me?
Better? Can you hear me now? Doesn't sound like it. Too much background noise over there.
I don't know why.
Conducive to off-air conversation. We are back.
This is 1075 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
2022 SEC Media Days from Atlanta.
Sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, Integrated Media, Elite Lawn and Landscape, and Pope Davis Tire.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 1075 The Game.
Final segment of the morning, and as you can tell, if you've watched on the live stream, where several of you have this morning, Josh, Anthony, Michael, Rick, York, Hope. We've had a couple Anthonys jump in this morning as always. Craig has been in there. We've had Travis, Steven weighing in. A lot of people have jumped in on our live stream, and we appreciate you joining us each and every morning. And as you've watched, Patrick, I'm sure you've been able to notice it has picked up significantly from 6 a.m. to where we sit here at 8:51.
Yep, the people are starting to funnel in the back. I always like with the live shows the background noise though. It just feels kind of electric. And this morning I threw the SEC network on just to see what was going on. SEC this morning, sponsored by Bush's Beans, of course, started. Yeah, of course. Just started. So now that kind of, to me, signals that the day has begun. We usually start before anything goes on. So when we started our show this morning, SEC Network was still just playing the replay of the national championship game, which it seems like they do at least once a week now.
Well, it's getting that time, I guess, as we've said, it's about this time where you move on past the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and it'll be time for a brand new start and new expectations. And we'll have plenty of time in the month of August to really start breaking stuff down. But this week, it's going to be interesting to hear NIL discussion, to hear transfer portal discussion. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I think Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher are going to line up outside on the street here in Atlanta and have words and exchange fists. I think it'll be very cordial. I'm pretty sure that a memo probably went out to all coaches this week to not take shots at other coaches in some way, shape, or form. But, Patrick, there is going to be questions about NIL. There's going to be questions to coaches about the transfer portal. There's going to be questions about conference realignment and the future of college football. And I guess this week will be more big picture long term as opposed to 2022.
Yeah, I mean, all the coaches, though, they just come in and they try to talk for as long as they can in their opening statement about their team this year because they got 30 minutes to kill.
Well, it depends.
They want to keep the focus on their football team.
It depends. I've seen it both ways. Where they come in and the instant thought is to answer everything in your opening statement so that maybe you don't have to deal with as many questions.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the other way where they know they're going to get asked about it, even if they say it in their opening statement. And so they just say, they give a quick opening statement. Hey, happy to be here. Good to see all you guys. Start of the season. We got a good football team. We look forward to the season. All right, what do you got on your mind? One interesting thing, Patrick, Brian Kelly at some point has been to a media day in his lifetime. But I was just thinking about this as you were bringing up what they try to do. Brian Kelly's never been to something like this as far as media day. Now, he's been at the college football playoff, and he's done press conferences. But this is a weird, unique event. This is a very odd event. I'm looking around now. I'll pull it back up. I think there's in the vicinity of 25 radio stations here. That's not counting, then you get into the, from South Carolina, you've got David Cloninger, who we were mentioning, Post and Courier. You'll have people from the state. You'll have the websites here. It's actually and that's just from South Carolina. Then you start throwing in 14 other schools. It's a nutty event.
Yeah, and I assumed that this was the case, but so it looks like Notre Dame does their own little media day thing and a fan appreciation event all tied into one where they have all the players out there and all the assistant coaches out there, and the media can just kind of walk around and interview people. But you're right, this is a totally different animal than that, because also everyone at the Notre Dame media day is probably Notre Dame associated or a Notre Dame website, so they're given fairly cushy questions. They're not getting hammered by national writers or writers from other schools or anything like that. So it's a different beast altogether. And I don't know who Brian Kelly is going to be completely new to this. I don't know who else is going to be completely like stunned by the scene over here, but it's just different.
Well,
like
and
Billy Napier hasn't seen anything like this, but he's also been at big programs before, so I think he knows what to expect. It's not like I don't know. The media deal at Notre Dame is just a little bit different than everywhere else.
Well, and there's also an element. There are dummies here. I hate to put it, but there are people here that are trying to ask a question that goes viral that they can point to and be like, ha ha ha, I tricked that. I got that coach. I tricked that coach. And so to your point on Brian Kelly and maybe Billy Napier, you do have to be a little savvy. You don't want to go up there and start talking about fire hoses and blowing and going.
No, yeah, you got to be smart. But they've all these staffs are so big too. Like the media coaching is off the charts here, and they've probably been dealing with every question. Shane Beamer and all these coaches have been asked every question that could possibly get asked.
We will do it all again tomorrow as we get you up bright and early. A lot to get to today, though. Pearson Fowler up next. Jay Phillips, Tommy Moody, Terry Ford this afternoon. And again, Tony Barnhart will be on with Jay. Heath Klein late this afternoon. And then, again, we'll have a lot of audio tomorrow as we get you ready for Shane Beamer. Y'all have a great day. It's been the early game from Atlanta.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus.
All right.
Yep. No. Not much of an after show. It's too loud over there. But everybody, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. We'll see you guys. Have fun, Bill.